Chapter 2381. Xinyan stared at Lin Yi blankly. She'd thought about their relationship before, and she'd thought that things between her and Lin Yi wouldn't work out because of her family and house calm. She'd been suppressing her feelings for Lin Yi, trying her best not to let things get out of hand with Lin Yi. But while she kept reminding herself to stay calm, she'd done a lot of things she couldn't forgive, like hugging Lin Yi, watching a movie with Lin Yi, and now she was naked with Lin Yi. She didn't like Xiaolong, and she didn't like the marriage with House Kong, but her family had already agreed to it. She felt like she shouldn't be doing this. It felt like cheating, and it made her feel guilty. But Xinyan had to admit that being with Lin Yi was very pleasurable. It was comfortable, and the occasional flirtatious moment. The heartbeat was unforgettable and satisfying. She even wished that she could be the desk mate of Lin Yi forever, never having to graduate, never having to face that marriage. But unconsciously, Xinyan's heart was leaning more and more towards Lin Yi. She was getting more and more rebellious, and she didn't want to think about marriage anymore. But she knew that some things couldn't be changed. She was just lying to herself. When Lin Yi displayed his extraordinary strength, and when she saw Lin Yi's followers getting stronger and stronger, even Elder Pai becoming Lin Yi's follower, Xinyan's heart was filled with anticipation. The common Xiao family support was the hidden house Pai, and now that the hidden house Pai had become Lin Yi's follower, it shouldn't be too hard for Elder Pai to talk to the Xiao family and cancel the marriage, right? But Xinyan didn't think that Lin Yi's confession would come so quickly. It caught her off guard. From her point of view, she should at least break off the engagement before she could be with Lin Yi. Ever since she was young, she had always been an obedient girl, so she always felt that it was a crime to be with Lin Yi without breaking off the engagement. It made her feel a deep sense of guilt. This was also the reason why she was stunned for a moment. She didn't know how to answer Lin Yi. Agree? Don't agree? Xinyan's heart was pounding furiously. She couldn't make up her mind. Not knowing what to do, Xinyan was a little taken aback. She really wanted to say yes to Lin Yi, but there were so many people in the room, especially in front of Meng Yao, and Yushu. She couldn't bring herself to just nod her head like that. This seemed to be threatening Lin Yi. Did he say that because he wanted to be responsible for himself? Why else would he pretend to be asleep? All of a sudden, Xinyan's heart was a mess. All sorts of things were rushing into her mind, making her feel dizzy. She wanted to run away, but somehow Xinyan ran out of the villa, disappearing from everyone's line of sight. Lin Yi paused. It was easy for him to stop Xinyan, but if she were to leave now, did that mean she was rejecting him? Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't know what Xinyan was thinking. Logically speaking, she should have feelings for him, right? Otherwise, why would she help him with his training so many times? For a girl to make a sacrifice like this, it was enough to prove her feelings, but why did she run away all of a sudden? Shield Bro's confession failed. Yushu was a little puzzled. Xinyan seemed to like Lin Yi, so why did it fail? Shu. Meng Yao glared at her. At this moment, Lin Yi was in a bad mood after his confession failed. Shu's words were like adding oil to the fire. But she didn't know why, but Meng Yao felt relieved. Was it because Xinyan didn't accept Lin Yi's confession? But why did she feel that it was a pity? Was it because she hoped that Lin Yi and Xinyan could be together? Was it because of his promise to Tang Yin? Old Pai and the others could see the awkwardness in the air. As well, it was best if they didn't stay in the villa any longer. It wouldn't look good on Lin Yi. He cleared his throat. Pishan, Zhihai, Qintian, Elder Wu, let's go for a stroll. The weather's nice today. Everyone responded, naturally understanding what old Pai was thinking. It was indeed awkward for them to stay here, so it was best if they left. Lin Yi didn't stop them, but before Qintian walked out, Lin Yi said, look after her, don't let anything happen to her. Got it, boss. Qintian understood immediately. Lin Yi didn't say it that clearly, but he knew that Lin Yi wanted him to keep an eye on Xinyan. With a bitter smile, Lin Yi sat on the sofa with Yushu and Meng Yao beside him. Shield bro, you failed at hitting on the girl? Do you need Shu to analyze it for you? Yushu asked. What do you know? Stop analyzing. Meng Yao interrupted. Go get me some water. I'm a little thirsty. Oh, Yushu didn't look like she was unwilling this time. She stood up happily and walked towards the kitchen. Lin Yi, Xinyan's probably a little confused for a moment. It's not that she doesn't want to accept your confession. Meng Yao was more attentive to details and came to this conclusion after some thought. She wasn't too sure, but she was just trying to comfort him and make him feel better. It's fine. Ha ha. Lin Yi said with a smile. I know. Okay. It's good that you know. Don't be too disappointed. Xinyan actually likes you. Meng Yao said, what happened today was too sudden. I'd probably hesitate if you confessed to me all of a sudden. Of course, if you confess a few more times, I'd probably say yes. Okay? Linny nodded, not thinking much about it. Disappointment flashed in Meng Yao's eyes. Did he really get it? He didn't seem to. Yushu came back with a cup of tea and handed it to Lin Yi. Right, Shield bro. Why were you looking for Xinyan, sis? Chapter 2382. The tea's a little hot. Let's drink it later. Yushu said quickly when she saw Lin Yi looking at her strangely. Oh, Lin Yi wasn't in a good mood, so he didn't think too much about it. There's a special scent on Wang Xinyan. I wonder if you guys noticed it. Scent. Meng Yao blinked, but after thinking about it, Xinyan did seem to have a faint scent on her, something that could only be smelled close to her. Meng Yao was sitting next to Xinyan when they went to the Tiger Lion Park, and she did smell it. It was a nice scent that made people feel comfortable and safe. Meng Yao thought that it was perfume, but now that Lin Yi was talking about it, it didn't seem like perfume at all. Meng Yao had used a lot of perfume brands, but this was the first time she smelled it. She nodded. I think so. It smells pretty good. What's wrong? Oh, Shu smelled it too. It really does smell like a fragrant herb. Yushu nodded as well. Yeah, I slept with Xinyan in the barracks during military training, and I found out that this scent can speed up my training. Lin Yi said, my training speed has increased quite a bit recently, and it's all thanks to Xinyan. Ah, I get it. You were about to break through the level barrier just now, weren't you? You were just a little bit away from it, and that's why I called Xinyan here. Meng Yao said. She understood what was going on after hearing Lin Yi's explanation. Yeah, that's it. Lin Yi nodded. I was injured in a fight at the casino, but at the same time, I found an opportunity to break through the barrier. It's just a little bit away, but I can't break through no matter how hard I try. That's why I asked you guys to get Xinyan here. Then, Shield bro, did you break through now? Yushu was very surprised. She didn't think that Lin Yi was looking for Xinyan for this reason. Wasn't this too amazing? Was Wang Xinyan a moving cultivation furnace? Yes, but Wang Xinyan took off the sheets to let her body smell better. So I think I should take responsibility? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. After that, he naturally picked up the teacup on the coffee table and prepared to take a sip of tea. Oh, wait. Yushu snatched the teacup from Lin Yi's hands and put it back on the table. It's still pretty hot. Drink it later. ? Lin Yi looked at Yushu strangely, not understanding what was going on. Shu, what are you doing? Meng Yao was confused by Shu's actions as well. She snatched the teacup from Meng Yao's hands. I'll drink first. I'm a little thirsty. Aya? Xiao Shu's hand loosened, and the teacup fell to the ground. It broke into pieces, and the tea inside spilled all over the floor. Shu, are you trying to rebel? Meng Yao didn't know what to say at the sight of Shu breaking the teacup. Oh, Shu's hand slipped. I'll go clean it up now. Yushu stood up and went to get a broom and mop. As if she'd let out a sigh of relief, Meng Yao opened her mouth but didn't say anything. Why was Shu acting so weird today? Her mind, however, was on Lin Yi. About Xinyan. I'll give her a call later. I have her number, and it's easier for us girls to talk to each other. I'll ask for you." "Thanks," Lin Yi said. "Yeah." Meng Yao looked at Lin Yi, feeling a little emotional. Why hadn't anyone asked for her before? This Shu guy. It didn't take long for Yushu to clean up the broken teacup before mopping the floor. Grandma's son had been with Faubert for the past couple of days, and Faubert and Pengzhan were both in Donghai dealing with business matters. The housework had fallen on everyone's shoulders. "It's done." Yushu sighed in relief, as if a huge burden had been lifted off her shoulders. "Shu, what's wrong? You don't have a fever today, do you? Why do I feel like something's wrong?" Meng Yao felt that Yushu wasn't quite herself today. "It's nothing. I'm fine," Yushu said. Lin Yi had broken through the level barrier, but there were still a lot of things he needed to think about after today's fight. He nodded to Meng Yao and Yushu. "I'm going back to my room. I need to work on some martial arts questions. You guys talk." "Yeah." "Okay." Meng Yao, on the other hand, hoped that Lin Yi could do something else to distract himself from Xin Yan's rejection. Lin Yi went into his room and started thinking about the reason for activating Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw today. There was the previous failure of Spring Rain, but from Lin Yi's perspective, Spring Rain failed because he didn't have a water attribute in his body. Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw, on the other hand, was different. He could activate Mu Linsun's 1,000 transformations with ease. And since he could use sky-splitting claw with fiery fist, it meant that he had no problem activating it. So, why did Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw fail? Lin Yi frowned. He couldn't figure it out, so he started using Mu Linsun's 1,000 transformations incantation again, following the method of activating sky-splitting claw. He started activating the first form, Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw. This time, Lin Yi didn't try to activate the fifth form right away. He tested it with the first form, but the result was tragic. The activation still failed, and it didn't even feel as good as when he activated Spring Rain. Although the activation of Spring Rain from the sky had failed, the initial process was smooth. It was only the final step to release it. However, Mu Linsun's heaven-splitting claw was different. It could not be activated at all. It was as if the mantra and the activation method did not match. How strange. Lin Yi tried again, and after confirming that he couldn't use Mu Linsun's sky-splitting earth-splitting claw, he stopped. There was no point in trying anymore. Chapter 2383. That's right. Lin Yi suddenly thought of a fact. The heaven and earth-splitting claw was a fire tribute martial arts technique, and the frenzied fire fist was also a fire tribute martial arts technique. Therefore, these two martial arts techniques could be combined. By using the mantra of the frenzied fire fist and the activation method of the heaven and earth splitting claw, they could form a new martial arts technique. However, the wood forest 1,000 transformations was different. This was a wood attribute mental cultivation technique, which was different from the fire attribute heaven and earth splitting claw. Therefore, this should be the reason why the two could not be successfully activated when combined. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's mind suddenly lit up. He combined the frenzied fire fist and the wood forest 1,000 transformations and tried to activate them, but it ended in failure. Moreover, regardless of whether Lin Yi combined the mantra of the frenzied fire fist with the wood forest 1,000 transformations, or the mantra of the wood forest 1,000 transformations with the frenzied fire fist, they did not succeed. This indirectly proved that Lin Yi's previous guess and judgment were correct. Only martial arts techniques of the same attribute could be combined with each other. Martial arts techniques of different attributes could not be combined. In other words, if Park Laoyo's martial arts technique was not a fire attribute or wood attribute, but a metal attribute, water attribute, or earth attribute martial art technique, Lin Yi would not have been able to imitate it. He definitely would not have been able to activate it. Thinking of this, Lin Yi secretly praised his luck. He was really lucky. Park Laoyo's martial arts technique happened to be of the fire attribute. Lin Yi also hit the mark by chance. He directly combined it with the frenzied fire fist that he was most familiar with, and successfully activated it. At that time, if Lin Yi had combined the wood forest thousand transformations and failed to activate it, Lin Yi might not have thought so much and given up on experimenting with the frenzied fire fist in a moment of desperation. Then it would have been a disaster. However, when Lin Yi figured this out, a new question arose. That was, why could Taganlong's 5 elements 8 trigrams palm be combined with the frenzied fire fist and the wood forest thousand transformations? What kind of martial skill was this 5 elements 8 trigrams palm? 5 elements. Lin Yi subconsciously twitched his mouth. Could it really belong to the 5 elements? Could it be that this was a martial skill that could be used by all 5 elements? Thinking of this, Lin Yi could not help but secretly click his tongue. This Taganlong was really lucky to actually cultivate such a martial technique. However, Lin Yi suddenly thought of the colorful vital qi on Taganlong's body. Could it be that he had a 5-elemental constitution and was using the 5-elemental vital qi to activate the 5-elemental 8 trigram palm? Thinking about it, it was really possible. If he didn't play, why would the power of his martial arts be so abnormal? If Taganlong really had a 5-elemental constitution and had the 5-elemental vital qi, then the third style of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm should be as powerful as the 15th style of an ordinary high-grade martial arts technique. However, Taganlong obviously did not do it. Of course, this was only a theoretical figure. Although the strength of a martial arts technique had a lot to do with the skill itself, it was also related to the proficiency of the cultivator. For example, when Lin Yi used the frenzied fire fist, his proficiency was higher than Faubert's. Therefore, when Lin Yi used the frenzied fire fist, the first style was equivalent to the power of the second style of an ordinary martial arts technique, and so on. However, Faubert could not do it. Therefore, although Taganlong's martial arts technique was powerful, theory was theory, and reality was reality, it was already very rare for him to be able to unleash the current power. After deducing the power of Taganlong's martial arts technique, Lin Yi was a little covetous. Even if he had a 3-elemental constitution of wood, fire, and metal, if he were to cultivate the 5 elements 8 trigram palm, he should be able to unleash the power of the 15th style in the 5th style. That would be awesome enough. The power was simply heaven-defying. No wonder Taganlong was so strong. However, Lin Yi had cultivated the omnipotent martial arts technique and could master any martial arts technique that could be cultivated. This way, he would definitely be stronger than Taganlong. Phew. Lin Yi let out a long breath and silently recited Taganlong's name. It seemed that when he was strong enough, he should go to the Taganlong family again and steal Taganlong's martial arts technique. That way, he would be invincible when facing even more powerful enemies. Right? Didn't my master, the strange man in heaven rank, say that he was stealing the enemy's cultivation method? If it was really as he said, and he could steal the mantra of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm, that would be a good thing. But where was he going to find the strange man in heaven rank? The treasures in the Wulonghout mountain range had already been taken out, so it was impossible for the heaven-ranked eccentric to return to that mountain range. With his crazy personality and brain, who knew where he might have run off to? It would be extremely difficult to find him. Outside the room, Yushu was sitting on the sofa in a daze. Although her eyes were on the TV, it was obvious that she was absent-minded. "Shu, what's wrong with you? Is there something on your mind?" Meng Yao felt that something was wrong when Shu poured tea for her. She felt that something was wrong with her. Yushu froze and came back to her senses. "Yao Yao, what did you say?" Meng Yao frowned slightly. "Shu, is there something on your mind? Didn't you hear what I said just now?" No, Shu was too engrossed in the TV just now. Yushu was a little shocked and quickly said with a smile, "Really? Then what was on the TV?" Meng Yao asked. The TV. Yushu subconsciously glanced at the TV and said, Isn't it Pleasant Goat and Big Big Wolf? I just changed the channel. Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was SpongeBob just now. Oh, right, it was SpongeBob. Yushu nodded. I watched SpongeBob yesterday, and it was Pleasant Goat and Big Big Wolf just now. I didn't change the channel. Meng Yao was a little speechless. Shu, what's wrong with you? You're even hiding it from me? Ah, is that so? Yushu didn't expect Meng Yao to be this cunning, lying to her. She shook her head. It's really nothing. Maybe I overused my brain in the casino today. Really? Meng Yao naturally didn't believe Yushu's words. She sighed and lowered her voice. Is it because of Linny? Meng Yao thought about it and couldn't come up with a reason like that. Shu liked Lin Yi, and Yushu had never denied her feelings for him. It was understandable that Shu was in a bad mood after Lin Yi suddenly confessed to Wang Xinyan. Chapter 2384. Whether it was Tang Yun or Xiao Xiao, Yushu didn't really care about them. She acted like a mistress, but in the end, she still became good friends with Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. This time, Wang Xinyan becoming Lin Yi's first wife was Yushu's idea. Was she really unhappy because of this? Meng Yao didn't believe it herself. It was possible to say that Meng Yao wasn't happy, but it didn't seem possible to say that Shu wasn't happy. From the beginning to the end, her only thought was that as long as she could be with Lin Yi, it didn't matter if he was an official girlfriend or not. Even if he was the main wife, she'd be satisfied as a small wife. And so, Meng Yao was puzzled. Why did Shu's personality seem to have changed today? Could it be that she didn't want to be the second wife anymore, and her personality exploded? Ah, how did you know? Yushu blurted out subconsciously, realizing that she'd let the cat out of the bag. No, I was just using my brain a little too much. I'm a little dizzy. Shu. Meng Yao looked at Yushu sternly. Okay. It's because of Shield Bro. Yushu said helplessly. I'm actually worried about Wang Xinyan. Shu, you don't want Wang Xinyan to be Lin Yi's girlfriend? Meng Yao asked weirdly after hearing Yushu admit it. No. Yushu shook her head. It's not that I don't want to. Oh. Yushu's innocent expression only made Meng Yao even more puzzled. She seemed to have misunderstood the situation. Yushu didn't seem to be upset about Xinyan's ascension to the position, but was it because of something else? Meng Yao asked curiously. Then what are you worried about? I'm worried that she rejected Shield Bro's confession. Shu wants her to be Shield Bro's first wife, so that she can be with Yao Yao in the future, Yushu said. Xinyan sis has a good personality. She'll probably have a good time with Yao Yao when she moves into the villa. Move into the villa? Meng Yao paused. You're telling her to move into the villa? What do you mean by having a good time? What are you talking about? It's nothing. What Shu means is, if Shu dies one day, we can find someone to accompany Yao Yao. Yushu said after some hesitation. Dead? How could he die? Why are you talking about these things? Meng Yao looked at Yushu, confused. She glared at her. What's wrong with you today? Nope. I'm just thinking about it. People go through life and death, accidents and disasters. What if I die one of those times? I won't be able to be with Yao Yao anymore. Yushu said, from now on, let Sister Xinyan accompany Sister Yao Yao. What nonsense are you talking about? Meng Yao couldn't understand what Yushu was talking about. She touched Yushu's forehead. You don't have a fever? No, Shu already said it. I'm just sighing, just in case. Yushu was back to her usual cheerful self. Shu's just saying in case. So even if we're looking for someone, we'll have to find a sister that Yao Yao can get along with. If Shu dies, there'll be no one to help Yao Yao. Sister Xinyan is a good person, and she's very kind. She can't bully Yao Yao, and she'll definitely give the main wife to Yao Yao. Meng Yao blushed after hearing Yushu's words. She didn't know what to do. Shu, what are you talking about? What are you trying to say? It's nothing. I think we should make a plan for Shield Bro to chase after a beauty. Let Shield Bro get Sinyan Sis smoothly. What do you think? Yushu said, plan for chasing after a beauty? Meng Yao blinked. She looked at Shu for a long time, making sure that she wasn't talking nonsense. You're saying that we should help Lin Yi? Yeah, only Lin Yi and Sinyan Sis can get together. Otherwise, I'll be worried. Yushu blinked. Otherwise, I'll be worried. Yushu didn't make it clear what she was worried about. Was it Meng Yao or Lin Yi? Then, what do you want to do? Meng Yao asked after some hesitation. She was quite supportive of Yushu's suggestion. She wouldn't have invited Sinyan to her house if she didn't like her. The kidnapping incident had put the plan on hold, but that didn't stop Meng Yao from wanting Sinyan to be Lin Yi's main wife. Let's go upstairs and think about it. We need to come up with a detailed plan. Yushu said as she pulled Meng Yao upstairs. Sinyan left Lin Yi's villa and hailed a taxi to go back to school. Chen Tian, on the other hand, watched her enter the dorms from afar before leaving with Old Pai and the others. Sinyan's heart was a mess. She didn't think that Lin Yi would confess to her at a time like this. She wasn't ready yet, or more accurately, she hadn't taken care of her own business, yet would he be unhappy if she rejected him? Sinyan suddenly wondered if it would hurt Lin Yi if she ran away just like that. Should she give him a call and explain things to him? Should she tell him about her troubles? She had a fiancé, and the engagement hadn't been canceled yet. Lin Yi should have known about this, but he was confessing to her anymore. Was he trying to embarrass her? Sinyan was a good kid, and she'd always been obedient since she was young. She wasn't too willing when it came to marriage, but with her family's interference, she'd reluctantly agreed. After all, she didn't have anyone she liked. Xiaolong looked like a nice guy on the surface. He was a doctor, and House Kong was a medical family. But when she saw how Xiaolong fawned over Wu Qintian during their meal in Yanjing, Sinyan felt that Xiaolong wasn't as nice as the rumors made him out to be. He was a bit of a hypocrite, and she didn't have a good impression of him. She didn't say much because of her family, but it was different now. Sinyan had someone she liked, and she didn't want to be tied down by fate. She didn't want to marry Xiaolong anymore. This was the first time in her life that Sinyan felt rebellious. She wanted to overturn her family's decision. She even had the urge to call her parents the moment she got back to the dorms and cancel the engagement with House Kong. Chapter 2385. Yes, she liked Lin Yi. She'd had feelings for Lin Yi before, but she didn't dare face them, didn't dare admit it. She'd lied to herself and told herself that they were just good friends. Until today, when Lin Yi confessed to her, she'd walked out of that self-deception completely. Yes, were she and Lin Yi still good friends? What kind of friends would hug each other all the time? What kind of friends would meet each other? What kind of friends would have their hearts beat faster when they were together? What kind of friends would have their hearts beat faster when they were alone together? No, of course not. Sinyan took in a deep breath. She felt like she had to do something. Sinyan returned to the girls' dorm, and a lot of people looked at her strangely. After all, the scene of her leaving the room in a bedsheet was too shocking, and now that she was back in a new set of clothes, there were still a lot of people who were curious. What was Sinyan doing? But Sinyan naturally didn't have the time to care about other people's thoughts. She quickly went back to her room and closed the door. Sinyan, what were you doing just now? Why the rush? Xiaoling asked curiously when she saw Sinyan. If I didn't know Yushu and Meng Yao, I would have thought that you were kidnapped again. It's nothing. Sinyan shook her head. They're just joking. Joking? Xiaoling didn't believe it, but Sinyan didn't want to talk about it. She didn't ask anymore. Zhao Xingji and Bai Weidua asked me, and Mei Wei out for dinner. Do you want to go? I'm not going. You guys go. When you come back, just bring me a lunch box from the cafeteria. Sinyan clearly wasn't in the mood to eat. Plus, Xiaoling and he Mei Wei were a couple. Why would she go? All right, I'll be going then. Xiaoling nodded and left the room. Xinyan, on the other hand, hesitated for a moment before gritting her teeth and dialing her mother's number. Xinyan, are you feeling better? Xiao Qinlin quickly picked up the phone. Xiao Qinlin was afraid that Xinyan would be in a bad mood after being kidnapped, so she didn't ask about her daughter's boyfriend at school. Now that Xinyan had taken the initiative to call, Xiao Qinlin naturally wanted to have a good talk with her. Her brother had called again, saying that House Kang's Kong Xiaolong was going back to Donghai Industry University to write his doctoral thesis. He wanted Xinyan to get along well with him. Xiao Qinlin didn't think it was appropriate to interfere with her daughter's freedom of love, but the Xiao family was on the verge of collapse, and this was something they had agreed to before. So Xiao Qinlin could only bite the bullet and agree to it first. Mom, Xinyan had already planned to tell her mother that she didn't want to marry Zhao Long, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. Xinyan rarely disobeyed her parents. This time, she really didn't know what to say. What's wrong, Xinyan? What kind of trouble are you in? Xinyan asked. Xiao Qinlin's heart skipped a beat as she hurriedly asked, Mom, I don't want to marry House Kang's Kong Xiaolong. I want to break off the engagement. Xinyan finally mustered up the courage to say this from the bottom of her heart. She didn't want to be a good girl anymore. She wanted to rebel for once. Ah, what? Qinlin froze. She didn't think that her daughter would be the first to tell her the truth. She was waiting for her daughter to be in a good mood before telling her daughter about her relationship with Zhao Long. She heard that Zhao Long was a good guy, and he was also a doctor. It wouldn't be a shame for Xinyan to marry him, but she didn't think that Xinyan would want to break off the engagement. Mom, I'm at school. I have a boyfriend. Xinyan bit her lips and said firmly, I like him. I want to be with him. I don't want to marry Kong Mingming. I don't want to be manipulated by the family. I want to be a bargaining chip for the Xiao family to marry into the rich and powerful. This, Xinyan, Qinlin's heart softened. She didn't think that her daughter would be this determined. Last time in Yanjing, her daughter didn't like Zhao Long and didn't want the marriage, but she still agreed to look around first. But this time, Qinlin could feel her daughter's determination. In the past, although her daughter wasn't willing, she didn't put up such a strong resistance. This time, although her daughter didn't make a fuss, her tone was incomparably firm. So, Xiao Qinlin really didn't know what to say. Especially when she thought of her brother Xiaoji's phone call, Xiao Qinlin felt helpless. Mom, I'm not being impulsive. I'm very sure that I like him. Xinyan continued. Yanyan, sigh. Xiao Qinlin sighed and said, Actually, I called you this time to talk about the Kong family's engagement. But you said these things first, so I can't say anything more. Ah, Mom, what's wrong? Did the Kang say anything? Xinyan asked, startled. Just now, your uncle called me and told me about the Kong family's engagement. Qinlin didn't hide anything. Your uncle said that House Kang Xiaolong is going back to Donghai Industry University to write his doctoral thesis. He wants you two to spend some time together. What? He's here? Xinyan paused, not expecting Xiaolong to be here. She knew that Xiaolong was a student at Donghai Industry University, but Xiaolong was a PhD student, so he didn't have to stay in school all day. He almost never came to school, and Xinyan didn't have much interaction with him. She didn't expect him to come back at this time. Xinyan, I understand what you mean. I'll explain it to your uncle. I hope he can cancel the engagement. Qinlin sighed. Ever since you were kidnapped, your dad and I have become less concerned about business. Nothing is more important than you. Your dad and I were even thinking of selling the company to the kidnappers for ransom, so we think that we can give up on these worldly possessions. As long as you're happy, that's enough. The Xiao family and House Kong won't be able to threaten us anymore. Thank you, Mom. Xinyan sniffled. She didn't expect her mother to say something like that. Xinyan wasn't stupid. She could guess the consequences of canceling the engagement. Her father's company might be attacked by both House Kong and Xiao family, but then she thought of Lin Yi, and her heart was filled with hope. Mom, Lin Yi, he's my boyfriend, and he has a lot of connections in Donghai. He knows people from the hidden house pie. They're working under Lin Yi right now. Rejecting House Kong won't affect your business. Chapter 2386. What? The hidden house pie works for Lin Yi. Qin Lin wasn't a stranger to Lin Yi's name, Ling Shan, and Meng Yao had both mentioned him back in the police station, but she never would have thought that the hidden house pie worked for Lin Yi. Wasn't the hidden house pie the support of the Xiao family? How did they become Lin Yi's men? With that, Wang Xinyan's marriage would be settled, wouldn't it? Qin Lin let out a breath of relief at the thought. And back then, I was saved by the hidden house pie's elder pie, but I didn't tell you or Dad because I wanted to keep it a secret. Xinyan couldn't hide it anymore. She needed to take out some chips for her own happiness. Is that so? I see. Xiao Qinlin sighed and said, Okay, I'll call your uncle now and tell him about the situation. Okay. Thank you, Mom. Xinyan knew that things were going to work out, and she was happy, but Qinlin's predictions seemed to be a bit off. After she told Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben about it, they were shocked for a moment, but Xiao Ben didn't give a clear answer. He only said that he needed to discuss it with his brother first before making a decision. This surprised Qinlin, but she didn't say anything. She waited quietly for her brother's reply. After hanging up, Xiao Ben's eyebrows furrowed. Xiao Ji, on the other hand, was an impatient man. Brother, if Lin Yi is the hidden house pie's boss, then he's our backer's backer. There's no harm in getting on good terms with him. Why don't you agree to cancel the marriage? Cancel the marriage? You want our Xiao family to be Lin Yi's lackeys? Xiao Ji, I think you're crazy. Did you forget that Lin Yi is our Xiao family's #1 enemy? You're an idiot. Go Huli screamed before Xiao Ben could say anything. She didn't want the Xiao family to give in to Lin Yi. Hadn't she lost enough face in front of Lin Yi? One had to admit that this woman was quite vengeful, especially a woman like Go Huli. Once you started to hate someone, it would be to the point of making your hair stand on end. Pa! Xiao Ji heard Huli scream and gave her a big slap. What are you yelling for? You useless bitch! Who are you to make decisions for the Xiao family? You hit me? Xiao Ji, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family. How dare you hit me? Go Huli held her swollen face and cried. Damn it, if you call me that again, I'll hit you again. Xiao Ji said angrily. Big brother, don't be angry. Xiao Ben waved his hand to stop Xiao Ji's violence. Sister-in-law isn't wrong. Don't be agitated. She's right. Xiao family won't get any benefits if we give in to Lin Yi. Oh, Xiao Ji paused. If Xinyan marries Lin Yi, wouldn't our Xiao family depend on Lin Yi? Even the hidden house pie depends on Lin Yi. This means that Lin Yi has a lot of potential. This is good for the development of our Xiao family. Big brother, you're too naive. Xiao Ben said. You're right, but have you thought about it? How big is the hatred between our Xiao family and Lin Yi? From the beginning, our Xiao family has always been against Lin Yi. We've hit him when he's down. It's already at an irreconcilable stage. That Xiao Ji hesitated. Then, if we marry Xinyan to Lin Yi, wouldn't we become relatives with Lin Yi? Relatives? Xiao Ben laughed coldly. You treat Lin Yi as a relative, but will he treat you as one? We've heard about what happened in the hidden house Tang, from the hidden house you. Did Lin Yi give face to Tang Yun's father? Did he give face to her grandfather? He's her biological father. What are we? We're not even close to him. That Xiao Ji thought about it. His brother was right, but he still hoped for luck. Didn't Wu Qintian and the hidden house pie have conflicts with Lin Yi before? Didn't you get Lin Yi's trust now? I don't know if the hidden house pie is on Lin Yi's side or not, but it doesn't matter. Wu Qintian 2. Did he have a direct conflict with Lin Yi? Did it cause any serious consequences? Xiao Ben waved his hand and said, "No, Chun Tian and House Pai actually didn't have much of a conflict with Lin Yi. It was just that they didn't get along. But there is no way our Xiao family would draw their swords against each other. For example, Zhao Qibing of the Hidden House Zhao, Xie Yufeng of the Common House Yu. These people had a grudge with Lin Yi. Do you think there's any way to resolve it? The Common House Yu was destroyed by Lin Yi, and the Hidden House Zhao's Zhao Qibing almost lost his life a couple of times. Do you think Lin Yi would let us, who aren't good relatives of Wang Xinyan, live with us?" That Xiao Ji didn't have much of a brain, but after Xiao Ben's analysis, he felt that it was possible. After all, the Xiao family and Lin Yi had a huge grudge. When Lin Yi was injured, the Xiao family had jumped out to add insult to injury. Would Lin Yi let them go so easily? Then, can't we ask the Hidden House Pai for mercy? Xiao Ji said after some hesitation. Ask for mercy? Do you think the Hidden House Pai would care about us after joining Lin Yi? Even Wu Qintian wouldn't care about us after joining Lin Yi, let alone the high and mighty Hidden House Pai. Do you think the Hidden House Pai would care about us? Xiao Ben shook his head. We're just a money-making tool for the Hidden House Pai. Now that the Hidden House Pai has joined Lin Yi's side, and Wu Qintian is Lin Yi's follower, the Hidden House Pai, and Lin Yi would be doing business with Wu Qintian. Would they even consider us? That's true, Xiao Ji nodded. Even if we let Wang Xinyan follow Lin Yi, we wouldn't be able to get on Lin Yi's good side. Lin Yi would still ignore us, and the Xiao family's position would still be in danger. But if we force Lin Yi to marry Xiaolong, wouldn't we be going against Lin Yi? Wouldn't Lin Yi destroy us in a fit of rage? If he wanted to, he would have done it a long time ago. The reason why he hasn't is probably because we're Wang Xinyan's uncle's son, so we don't have to be afraid of anything. Xiao Ben said. At that time, when the Hidden Tang family broke off with Lin Yi and Tang Yun, I didn't see Lin Yi do anything. Xiao Ben was right. Lin Yi didn't do anything to the Hidden House Pai, but it wasn't because he didn't want to, but because he wasn't their opponent. Chapter 2387. Xiao Ben neglected this important point. How could the Xiao family be compared to the Hidden House Tang? But if we force Xinyan to marry Xiaolong, will Lin Yi retaliate? Even if he doesn't, won't the Hidden House Pai do it? Xiao Ji asked worriedly. This actually has nothing to do with the Xiao family. We can just kick the ball to House Kong. I don't think they'll agree to cancel the marriage, right? Xiao Ben smiled darkly. Of course, we'll add oil to the fire and stir up House Kang's emotions. They have the Hidden House Yu as their backing, and they're very arrogant. When the time comes, our Xiao family will join the Hidden House Yu as well, and the Hidden House Pai won't work. All right, we'll listen to you, brother. Xiao Ji nodded. What Xiao Ji said was not wrong. During this period of time, the Kong family's confidence had indeed swelled to its peak. The reason was simple. Kong Mingming, who said he was helping the Hidden House Yu with something, suddenly sent a message saying that he wasn't actually helping the Hidden House Yu, but that the ancient sect, Sky Elixir, had chosen him to help them with something. Although Kong Mingming didn't say what he was helping the Sky Elixir sect with, Elder Kong could hear the sense of superiority in Kong Mingming's words. Kong Mingming must be doing quite well, or else he wouldn't have made a call like this. Kong Xiaoming was doing quite well. After he was brought back to Sky Elixir School, the old head of Sky Elixir School, 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 Sky Elixir School. The Flaming Yang pill was a level 3 pill, and it wasn't easy to make. You might not succeed even after a few tries, and it was very exhausting. This was also why Tianyi wouldn't easily agree to make the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill for Bingtang. If he had the time and energy, he wouldn't even be able to make some level 3 pills for his own family, let alone someone else. Naturally, that was impossible. Even the reward of the Heavenly Elixir School's trial test clearly stated that the reward could be a third-grade elixir pill of the Heavenly Elixir School, but one could not ask the Heavenly Elixir School to refine a third-grade elixir pill for them. If there was no third-grade elixir pill that the trial taker needed, they could use other heavenly treasures instead. This was enough to explain how difficult it was to make a level 3 pill. Of course, most of the third-grade elixir pills in the Heavenly Elixir sect were not refined by the people of heaven and earth. Instead, they were refined by Patriarch Schwanchen's senior brother. Patriarch Schwanchen's senior brother was an alchemist, and his standards were higher than heaven and earth man's. However, heaven and earth man did not dare to ask exactly how high he was. Of course, if it was, Tianyi-sec Senior was in closed training. Heaven and earth man would definitely ask Patriarch Schwanchen's senior brother to help him refine a third-grade elixir, but there was no other way. He could only do it personally. Things were settled. Kong Ming was allowed to make a call home, and when Kong Ming told Dr. Kong everything, Dr. Kong was surprised and happy. He didn't expect that his grandson, whom he didn't think highly of, would once again bring him an unparalleled surprise. With that miracle, Dr. Kong gathered all the members of the house and held a family meeting. When Dr. Kong told Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsuepu, and Kong Xiaolong about Kong Ming's current situation, the three of them were a little dumbfounded and felt that it was unbelievable. They didn't expect it. Kong Ming was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect to help them. This was a great honor. No one in the Kong family was stupid. The Hidden Yu family was such a powerful alchemy family, but no one was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect. Instead, Kong Ming was taken away to help. This meant that the help was definitely not simple, and only Kong Ming could help. Therefore, everyone in the Kong family understood one thing. The Kong family's meteoric rise was imminent. Relying on the ancient sect, it wasn't impossible for the Kong family to directly upgrade to a hidden family. Although Xiaoming didn't say it explicitly this time, the hint was clear enough. He is highly valued in the Sky Elixir sect, learning alchemy from the 5th elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Although he only said to help the Sky Elixir sect with one thing, and didn't say what it was, his identity as the 5th elder's disciple is enough to make his identity incomparably prominent. Dr. Kong said, "Everyone, think about it. Even the Hidden Yu family doesn't have this treatment, but Xiaoming did it. Our Kong family's future really needs to be planned carefully." Yeah, I didn't think that this kid Xiaoming would bring us so many surprises recently. When Kong Guifeng said this, his emotions were complicated. He was both envious and happy, but most of all, he was relieved. Kong Ming went to the Sky Elixir sect and became their disciple. It was basically impossible for him to return to the Kong family. Even if the small Kong family was upgraded to a hidden family, it was nothing to Kong Ming. His position in the Sky Elixir sect and the head of the Kong family were two completely different concepts. So with this, it was impossible for Kong Ming to fight with Xiaolong for the position of the head of the house. This was a good thing. Xiaolong naturally understood this as well. This Kong Xiaoming's luck was just too good. He'd worked so hard, but he'd still have to rely on Kong Xiaoming's whims in the future. Even if he became the head of House Kong, the entire House Kong would still have to listen to him. Grandpa, this is a good opportunity for us Kong family. If we grasp it well, we can form a relationship with the Sky Elixir sect and become a hidden house. Xiaolong was excited. Although he still had to rely on Kong Ming in the future, if he could become the young master of a hidden house, it would be completely different from his current position. Xiaolong is right. Our pharmaceutical company is currently suffering quite a blow, but if we can form a relationship with the Heavenly Elixir sect and use the heavenly elixir sex route, we can act as an agent to sell some elixirs and treasures of heaven and earth, just like the Hidden You family. When that time comes, we will be rolling in money. Dr. Kong nodded. Gui Feng, our business with Dr. Kang's medicine company is almost finished. We're not making much money now anyway. If we can sell it, we'll sell it. We'll plan for the future. Chapter 2388. Yes, Father. Kang Gui Feng nodded. Dr. Kang's medical company was barely hanging on. After being attacked by Lin Yi, there wasn't much business at all. It was just that House Kong had been passive all this time and hadn't found any suitable new business, so they had been dragging it on. Now that Kong Mingming had become a refiner, even if the failed pills were brought to House Kong and sold to normal practitioners, such as bodyguards of wealthy merchants, it would still be a huge fortune. House Yu wasn't too willing to do this kind of low-end business, so House Kong could fill this gap in the market. Yes. Does anyone have any suggestions? Let's hear it together, Dr. Kong asked. Grandpa, about my marriage with Wang Xinyan. Xiaolong hesitated and asked. He was a very utilitarian person, although he felt that Wang Xinyan wasn't bad, and he was drooling over her beauty. If he had to compare it with his family's interests, he could give up on her beauty. Yes, Father, shouldn't Xiaolong break off the engagement and find a better one? Like the daughters of other hidden houses? Kong Guifeng was also a very snobbish person, so he asked, break off the engagement? Stupid, Dr. Kong snorted and said, Xiao family's Wang Xinyan, your marriage with her should be done as it should be. Not only can you not break off the engagement, but you must also try your best to make this marriage happen. Oh, why is that? Kong Guifeng was stunned. He didn't expect his father to say this. Guifeng, we, House Kong, suffered a great loss because we went back on our words last time. Dr. Kong waved his hand and said with a serious expression, last time, it was because we were too eager for success and went back on our words that we almost lost the chance to build a relationship with House Yu. If it wasn't for the Xiao family helping us, we wouldn't have been able to build a relationship with the hidden House Yu. So, it's all thanks to the Xiao family that our House Kong is where we are today. Luckily, the Xiao family didn't mind. Otherwise, our Kong family will really decline. Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong froze, but they nodded. They had to admit that Dr. Kong was right. And this time, Xiaoming's success is because of the hidden Yu family. As the saying goes, don't forget the one who dug the well when you drink water. Our Kong family will never break off the engagement with the Xiao family because of this. Not only that, we must also try our best to facilitate this marriage. Dr. Kong saw that Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong were listening, so he continued, from your point of view, it's more beneficial for us to marry into the hidden houses. But do you think that with our family's current situation, those hidden houses would really look at us? Yes, we have the support of the heavenly elixir sect, but how many hidden families don't have the support of an ancient sect? Just look at the hidden house Yu and the hidden house Pai. These old hidden houses had the shadow of the ancient level behind them. If we marry them, will they even look at us? What's more, if our Kong family breaks the engagement, in their eyes, we'll become treacherous people. If we did it once, can't there be a second time? Let me make a bold guess. If Kong Mingming becomes an elder of the heavenly elixir sect, wouldn't our Kong family's position be above the hidden houses? At that time, would we break the engagement and marry into an ancient sect or an ancient house? Our Kong family's reputation would be ruined by then. So you're saying that our family will continue to work with the Xiao family and maintain our friendship? Kong Guifeng asked carefully. That's right. Not only do we need to maintain our friendship with the Xiao family, but we also need to use this opportunity to extend an olive branch and bring the Xiao family into our business. We'll get rich together. Dr. Kong said, these few business failures have made me understand some things. Our Kong family was too selfish in the past, but now we need to change this bad habit. We need to let people see that those who helped us, after our Kong family becomes strong, will repay them with even a drop of water. Grandpa, I understand what you're trying to say. Xiaolong nodded thoughtfully. You're trying to tell us that as our Kong family gets stronger and stronger, we need to pay more attention to our reputation? It's good that you understand, Xiaolong. Miracle, Dr. Kong nodded. Your marriage isn't important anymore. As long as Xiaoming is here, we can't fall. Instead of a marriage alliance, why don't you just follow Xiaoming? That's better than anything else. Of course, Xiaolong, don't think too much about it. Xiaoming may be doing better than you, but when you become the head of the house, your position will be much higher than before. Yes, Xiaolong nodded quickly. He'd thought this through long ago. Even if he still had to lower his head in front of Kong Mingming, there was no other way. Kong Mingming was a member of the Heavenly Elixir sect, not just his little brother, and he'd gotten a lot of benefits from this. As they were talking, the phone beside Old Kang's hand rang. Old Kong looked at the caller ID, and after a slight surprise, he picked up the phone with a smile. Hello, head of house you? Old Kong, just call me Old You from now on. Why are you calling me head of the house? It's too formal. Old You laughed and said politely, Hee hee, then I'll do as you say. Old Kong was also a sly old fox. He immediately understood the purpose of Old You's call. He was trying to rope in his family. In the past, when the hidden house you called the Kong family, it was always with a master's commanding tone. It was never this polite. But today, Old You changed his attitude and spoke to him in a tone of equality. Old Kong knew that the Yu family had received the news. Old Kong, congratulations. Your grandson is valued by the Heavenly Elixir sect and has become the 5th elder's proud disciple. In the future, when he becomes successful and becomes the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, don't forget to remind our house you. Old You obviously knew more than Old Kong, since Kong Mingming could clearly release the news that he had become the 5th elder's disciple and the celestial being had personally refined the elixir. It showed that Kong Mingming was going to be successful in the future. If he really refined the bone-washing pill, then Kong Mingming would become the 5th elder's successor and become the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. This was basically a matter of fact. Therefore, even Old You had to be moved and build a good relationship with the Kong family in advance. An elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect was a high existence in front of the hidden house you. It could even directly determine the status of the house you in front of the Heavenly Elixir sect. How could Old You not pay attention to it? Hee hee, you flatter me. Zhao Ming is still young. He is just a little disciple. He is too far away from becoming an elder. Although Old Kong said so, his heart jumped. Happy face carrot. Chapter 2389. Obviously, the Hidden Yu family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, Old Man Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Mingming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing. But now, after listening to Old Man Yu's words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Mingming didn't have any development, Old Man Yu wouldn't call him with such a low profile. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Zhao Ming is the 5th elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Mingming's luck to be so good. He actually became the 5th elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for Old Man Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Mingming was so bad *SS. Hee hee, Old Man Yu, keep a low profile. Zhao Ming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood. Understood. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Oh, yeah, I heard that Zhao Ming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah, Xiaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said, "What's the matter?" "My grandson, Yu Panhu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also Boss Bai's disciple. They can get closer in the future." "Old man," Yu said, "all right, it's easier for young people to communicate together." Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the Hidden Yu family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, Old Man Yu had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. "That's good. Old Man Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch." Old Man Yu said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was fluctuating. He still underestimated Kong Mingming's status. It seemed that Kong Mingming was now one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir Sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsuepu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, "Xiaoming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our house Kong is really amazing this time." "Father, what did the hidden old master you say?" Kong Guifeng asked quickly. "Old man, you said that Xiaoming has a high position in the Heavenly Elixir Sect and is the fifth elder's last disciple. It's very likely that he will become an elder in the future." Miracle, Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Xiaoming might have been modest and didn't say much, but House Yu's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. Future elders. Kong Guifeng and others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong had said similar words before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words coming from the Yu family was completely different. Yes, an old man Yu said that his grandson Yu Panhu is also in Donghai Industry University's biomedical faculty. "Xiaolong, go find him and get closer to him." Dr. Kong said, "Okay, Grandpa." Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. Clenching his fists tightly, he never thought that he would one day successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, be domineering in the future, and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Xiaoming. Xiaoming represents the Heavenly Elixir Sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble. Don't be afraid of trouble now, but don't take the initiative to stir up trouble. After all, every move we make may be watched by others. "I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't go looking for trouble." Xiaolong nodded. "Guifeng, tell this news to your in-laws' Xiao family. Let them be happy." Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. "Okay, I'll make the call now." Kong Guifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Guifeng looked at the caller ID and froze, because the person who called was Xiao Ben from the Xiao family. "Speak of the devil, and he will appear." "Hello, I'm Kong Guifeng." Kong Guifeng picked up the phone. "Xiao Ben bro, why are you calling me all of a sudden?" "Ha, Kong bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To tell you the truth, there's some conflict in my family." Xiao Ben said, "Oh, family conflict? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family?" Kong Guifeng paused. "There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help." Xiao Ben smiled bitterly. "Related to House Kong? Then what is it?" Kong Guifeng didn't know what was going on. "It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage." Xiao Ben said, "Wang Xinyan has some problems." "Problems?" Kong Guifeng frowned, anger rising in his heart. "I say, Xiao Ben, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again?" Kong Guifeng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel the marriage? This was simply humiliating the Kong family. Kong bro, please calm down. How could we cancel the marriage? Xiao Ben said quickly. Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Guifeng felt much better after hearing Xiao Ben's explanation, especially when it came to following Kong Guifeng's lead. Man, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school. Xiao Ben said bitterly. Xiao Ben, what do you mean? She's engaged and she likes someone else? Kong Guifeng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Kong bro, that's impossible. Xiao Ben explained. You know that our Xiao family has been trying to make this marriage happen, but the problem is that your son Xiaolong isn't doing well. He's already engaged to Xinyan, and the two of them should be in contact more often. Xinyan wouldn't have the chance to fall in love with someone else, but your son hasn't shown up for a while now. Isn't that giving others a chance to take advantage of her? Chapter 2390. Obviously, the Hidden You family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, old Master Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Mingming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing, but now, after listening to old Master Yu's words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Mingming didn't have any development, old Master Yu wouldn't call in such a low profile to build a relationship. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Xiaoming is the fifth elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Master Yu said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Mingming's luck to be so good. He actually became the fifth elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for old Master Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Mingming was so bad *SS. Old Master Yu, keep a low profile. Xiaoming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood. Understood. Old Master Yu said with a smile. Oh, yeah. I heard that Xiaoming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah. Xiaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said. What's the matter? My grandson, Yu Panhu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also Boss Bai's disciple. They can get closer in the future. Old Master Yu said, all right, it's easier for young people to communicate together. Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the Hidden You family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, old Master Yu had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. That's good. Old Master Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch. Old Master Yu said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was in turmoil. He still underestimated Kong Mingming's status. It seemed that Kong Ming was definitely one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsuepu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, Xiaoming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our House Kong is really amazing this time. Father, what did the hidden old master you say? Kong Guifeng asked quickly. Old man, you said that Xiaoming's position in the Heavenly Elixir sect is very high. He's the fifth elder's last disciple, and is very likely to be a future elder. Miracle Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Xiaoming might have been modest and didn't say much, but House Yu's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. Future elders. Kong Guifeng and the others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong said something similar before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words coming from the Yu family was completely different. Yes, an old man you said that his grandson, Yu Panhu, is also studying in East Ocean Industry University's biomedical department. Xiaolong, you should go find him and get closer to him. Dr. Kong said, Okay, Grandpa. Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. He never thought that there would be a day where he would successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, in the future, you must be domineering and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Xiaoming. Xiaoming represents the heavenly elixir sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble now, but we shouldn't actively cause trouble. After all, our every move can be watched by others. I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't actively cause trouble. Xiaolong nodded. Guifeng, tell this news to your in-laws, Xiao family. Let them be happy. Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. Okay, I'll make the call now. Kong Guifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Guifeng looked at the caller ID and froze. The person who called was Xiao Ben from the Xiao family. Speak of the devil, and he's here. Hello, I'm Kong Guifeng. Kong Guifeng picked up the phone. Xiao Ben bro, why are you calling me all of a sudden? Ha, Kong bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To be honest, there's some conflict in my family. Xiao Ben said, Oh, conflict in your family? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family? Kong Guifeng paused. There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help. Xiao Ben smiled bitterly. Related to House Kong? Then what is it? Kong Guifeng didn't know what was going on. It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage. Xiao Ben said, Wang Xinyan's side has some problems. Problems? Kong Guifeng frowned, anger welling up in his heart. I say, Xiao Ben, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again? Kong Guifeng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel the marriage? This was a slap to House Kang's face. Kong bro, please calm down. How could we cancel the marriage? Xiao Ben quickly said, Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Guifeng felt much better after hearing Xiao Ben's explanation, especially when he heard that they were following the lead. It made Kong Guifeng feel much better. Sigh, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school. Xiao Ben said bitterly. Xiao Ben, what's the meaning of this? You're engaged, but you still like someone else? Kong Guifeng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Chapter 2391. Humph. It takes two hands to clap. Kong Guifeng snorted coldly. However, the Kong family had been busy with the company's affairs a while ago. Xiaolong was also busy with the company's affairs. How could he have the mood to be in a relationship? Therefore, Kong Guifeng really couldn't refute what Xiao Ben said. However, Xiao Ben's words about Xiaolong not working hard made him very angry. He thought to himself, why is my son not working hard? Anyway, I will definitely not agree to it. Xiao Ben said, I strongly rejected my sister's proposal. This is a big matter that our two families have discussed. How can we change it just like that? Brother Kong, I am actually reminding nephew Xiaolong out of kindness. If his wife is taken away by someone else, it will be a disgrace to the Kong family. What is the status of the Kong family? She is the representative of the hidden house of Yu. Yes, this matter must not happen. The Kong family can't afford to lose this face. If the daughter-in-law of our Kong family is taken away by someone else, how will the Kong family survive in the future? Kong Guifeng said indignantly. However, Brother Xiao, your words are different. Our Kong family is no longer the representative of the hidden house of Yu. Ah, not anymore. Xiao Ben was stunned. He didn't understand what Kong Guifeng meant. Could it be that the Kong family and the hidden house of Yu had a conflict? Kong Ming of our Kong family is currently accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. He is also one of the future elders of the Heavenly Elixir sect, Kong Guifeng said proudly. So, our Kong family may be a hidden family in the future. At present, we have a similar relationship with the house of Yu. We are both under the Heavenly Elixir sect. What? Xiao Ben heard Kong Guifeng's words and suddenly widened his eyes. He never thought that Kong Ming of the Kong family was so powerful that he was accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect and the future elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Isn't this too amazing? However, when Xiao Ben came back to his senses, he didn't think that Kong Guifeng was lying at all. After all, who would dare to joke about such things? Thinking of this, Xiao Ben was a little excited. He was smart and didn't compromise with Lin Yi. Otherwise, the Xiao family would be finished. How powerful was the Heavenly Elixir sect? That was a very powerful sect in the ancient times. It would be a piece of cake for them to destroy the Xiao family. He had made the right bet this time. If he followed the Kong family in the future, he wouldn't have to worry about not having a meteoric rise. Congratulations, Brother Kong. From now on, I'll call you the Hidden Kong family's young master. Xiao Ben immediately said flatteringly, Young Master Kong. From now on, our Xiao family will follow you. If you have any errands to run, don't forget us. Sure. Kong Guifeng said, feeling a little smug. Right, let's talk about Wang Xinyan first. What's going on? Wang Xinyan. Right, the person she likes is the enemy of your Kong family. Xiao Ben said, gritting his teeth, that person is Lin Yi. If it was someone else, they might be able to tolerate it, but Lin Yi can't. Can he? Your Kong family's company went bankrupt because of Lin Yi. Can you? You're the representatives of the ancient sects. Now, the future hidden house. How can you let a little bastard bully you? Can you? We didn't dare to mess with Lin Yi before, but now we have Kong Ming, Xiaolong's brother. Can you? Can Kong Ming just watch his sister-in-law be taken away? Absolutely not. Can you? Lin Kong Guifeng said angrily. You and House Kong have an irreconcilable enmity. Brother Xiao, don't you worry. We'll get to the bottom of this. The Kong family, must fight for our honor. Yeah, this is a slap in the face. Xiao Ben said. Most importantly, Lin Yi is in the wrong. We can't let this go. Okay, I understand, but you should restrain your Wang Xinyan as well. She's engaged, so you need to be more careful. Kong Guifeng said. Of course, I understand. Xiao Ben nodded. Don't worry, Kong bro. Kong Guifeng hung up and told Dr. Kong, Sui Pu, and Xiaolong what Xiao Ben told him. Sui Pu and Xiaolong were very agitated, thinking that they couldn't just let this go. This was a slap in the face, and they had to fight for it. Father, we can't just let this go. Lin Yi bullied us before, and we didn't have anyone to back us up. Now that we have someone to back us up, how can we let him bully us? Xiaolong had long since treated Wang Xinyan as his private property. He was already pissed when Lin Yi destroyed Dr. Kang's medical company, and now Lin Yi stole his woman. No matter how cunning he was, he couldn't hold it in anymore. But Dr. Kang's expression was very calm. He waved his hand at the angry Xiaolong. Xiaolong, don't be angry. Xiao family might not have good intentions. Dr. Kong was a snobbish man, but he was also a cunning and sinister man. He could tell from Xiao Ben's call that Xiao family might not have good intentions. Oh, father, what do you mean? Kong Guifeng paused. Xiao family is trying to maximize their benefits. If Wang Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, it wouldn't benefit Xiao family at all. Dr. Kong said, Xiao family and Lin Yi are mortal enemies, and it's unlikely that they'll be able to resolve it. If Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, Xiao family and House Kang's relationship would fall apart. To them, it's more harm than good, but they don't want to mess with Lin Yi, so they're kicking the ball to us, instigating you on the phone, to make us go against Lin Yi. That's... Kong Guifeng listened to Dr. Kang's analysis and thought through some of the problems. Then shouldn't we just sit back and watch the tigers fight? Of course not. No matter what, Wang Xinyan is our daughter-in-law. If Lin Yi were to take her away, it'd be a disgrace to House Kong, and it'd be a stain on Zhaoming's name. The hidden house you would laugh at us too. Dr. Kong waved his hand. Right now, House Kang's reputation is very important. If we cause any bad news, and the Sky Elixir sect finds out, it'll very likely hinder our path to becoming a top hidden house. Then, father, you're saying that we should go against Lin Yi? But with our current strength, we can't do that. Kong Guifeng asked carefully. Chapter 2392. Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsuepu, and Kong Xiaolong's expressions changed after hearing Dr. Kang's analysis. But Dr. Kong didn't give them the chance to speak. Before Zhaoming has a firm foothold, we shouldn't get into a big conflict with our enemies. Let Xiaolong go and get Xinyan back from Lin Yi's hands. Lin Yi is a playboy. With so many girlfriends, he might not be true to Xinyan. Xiaolong still has an advantage. Plus, weren't you getting along well with Xinyan back in Yanjing? Well, we were good back then, but we haven't seen each other for a while now. Xiaolong didn't expect Lin Yi and Xinyan to be together. Was there something wrong with Xinyan? Lin Yi had Tang Yun, Feng Xiaoxiao, and that Guan Xian whom he had an unclear relationship with. What was this Xinyan doing? How about this? Xinyan is in Donghai Industry University's biology major, Boss Bai's class. Yu Panhu is there too. You go there and listen in. While you're building a good relationship with Panhu, you can get in touch with Xinyan and get her back for me. Dr. Kong said, there's an important rule in Boss Bai's class. Students can't fight to the death, but dirty tricks are allowed. Lin, he won't be able to do anything to you. All right. Xiaolong used to be Boss Bai's student, so he naturally knew about Boss Bai's rules. He also knew that Boss Bai's status was very high and that Lin Yi wouldn't do anything rash. He wasn't afraid of starting a feud with Lin Yi because Lin Yi wouldn't do anything to him. In Xiaolong's mind, Lin Yi was a martial artist with no intelligence. He was a violent maniac. As for the attack on Dr. Kang's medical company, while Lin Yi was involved, Xiaolong believed that while Lin Yi was Fatty Lai's boss, Fatty Lai was still the one doing the work. The prescription was made by Guan Shueming, and Lin Yi didn't know anything about business. Taking a step back, even if Lin Yi and Shueming were the ones who came up with the recipe, Lin Yi only had some medical knowledge. When it came to scheming, Xiaolong didn't lose to anyone. After House Kong made their decision, Guifeng called Xiao Ben back and told him about House Kang's decision. Xiao Ben, on the other hand, told Xiao Ji about House Kang's latest movements. Brother, you're the best. You're far-sighted. Xiao Ji heard that House Kang's Kong Ming Ming was accepted as a disciple by the 5th elder of Sky Elixir sect, and that he had a chance to become an elder of Sky Elixir sect in the future. He sighed. If it wasn't for Xiao Ben's persistence, Xiao family would have been done for. Ha! Brother, this is a great opportunity. If House Kong becomes strong, then our Xiao family status will rise as well. Xiao Ben smiled. It was good enough for us to protect our status as noble houses, but now hidden noble houses are waving at us. Ha ha, of course, but Wang Xinyan, she'd better not get into trouble, Xiao Ji said worriedly. If something really happens between her and that little bastard Lin Yi, then Xiao family will lose the chance to be rich and powerful. Yeah, I've already instigated House Kong to make a move, but we need to warn Xinyan in advance. Don't let her do anything immoral. Xiao Ben nodded. If nothing happens between her and Lin Yi, House Kong won't give up, but if she's a slut, then Xiao Long won't bother. Compared to that, marrying a slut is even more shameful. Yes, then how should we tell Xiao Qinlin? Xiao Ji was even more worried after hearing this. What if we warn her and it backfires? That won't happen. I'll tell her. Xiao Ben had an idea. All right, I'll leave it to you, brother. You're the brains of our family. Xiao Ji let out a breath of relief when he heard that Xiao Ben had an idea. Xiao Ben dialed Qinlin's number again, and Qinlin was anxiously waiting for Xiao family's reply. Qinlin, it's your brother Xiao Ben. Xiao Ben said after the call went through. Brother, how is it? Can we break off the engagement? Qinlin asked quickly. Qinlin, it's not that I want to lecture you, but marriage is a big deal. We're already engaged to House Kong. If we break off the engagement now, the consequences will be severe. Xiao Ben said with a heavy heart, Brother, I know it's a little troublesome, but Xinyan has spoken, and I've discussed it with her father. Ever since Xinyan was kidnapped, we've realized that Xinyan is the most important thing. Everything else is just worldly possessions. Qinlin said, We don't need our company anymore. We can give it to you or House Kong. It doesn't matter if we have nothing, as long as Xinyan is happy. Xiao Ben was startled. He didn't expect Qinlin to be so resolute this time. She even wanted to give up the company. Originally, he wanted to use the company to threaten Qinlin, but it seemed impossible now. However, Xiao Ben wasn't called the brains of his family for nothing. He immediately had another idea. Qinlin, it's not about the company anymore. It's about whether House Kong can let Xiao family go, and you and Xinyan go. So what if they don't? Qinlin said firmly, We don't want the company anymore. What else can they do? It's not something that can be solved just because you say you don't want it. Xiao Ben paused, then said, Qinlin, if Xinyan and Lin Yi are together, she and Lin Yi will both die. Do you believe it? Qinlin was stunned. Die? How can they die? No matter how overbearing the Kong family is, they can't just kill people, right? That was before. Xiao Ben shook his head. There are some things you don't know yet. House Kang's Kong Ming, Xiaolong's younger brother, has caught the eye of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, one of the biggest ancient sections. He's been taken in as his last disciple, the future elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Now, that House Kong has the protection of the Sky Elixir sect, do you think Kong Ming will let it go if he finds out that his sister-in-law was seduced? If he brings a few masters from the Sky Elixir sect? It'll be the end of our sect. Don't think that just because Lin Yi has some martial arts and has the support of the Hidden House Pai, he's nothing in the eyes of the ancient sects. Chapter 2393. But the legendary ancient sect had accepted Kong Ming as a disciple, and Kong Ming could even become an elder of the Sky Elixir sect? Qinlin couldn't digest all of this at once. It was too surreal. It was unrealistic to say that House Kong could destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao, but it should be easy for an ancient sect to destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao. They could destroy them with a snap of their fingers. Even a hidden house was very powerful in Qinlin's eyes, let alone an ancient sect. If it weren't for the head of the Hidden House Pai, Wang Xinyan wouldn't even be alive right now. And so, Qinlin was dumbfounded. Qinlin, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family, and I don't want anything to happen to Xinyan. As for that little bastard Lin Yi, I'd be happy if he got rid of him. Xiao Ben was playing hard to get, but if Kong Ming Ming from the Sky Elixir sect comes out and takes out Lin Yi, Xinyan might not be in a good position. Think about it in his eyes. Marrying Lin Yi's woman back to House Kong would be a slap in the face. Getting rid of them was the best way. It was the least shameful way to solve the problem. In the end, our Xiao family, you and I will both die. It's that serious. Xiao Qinlin was quite frightened because what Xiao Ben said was too frightening. Yes, it's very serious. Xiao Ben said, this is actually very easy to prove. You don't have to doubt it. Kong Xiaolong will be going to Xinyan's class to listen in these few days. According to the Hidden House Yu's request, Yu Panhu has to get close to Kong Xiaolong, and Xinyan will be able to see him in a few days. That Qinlin was really hoping for luck. She was scared, but she hoped that Xiao Ben was lying to her. However, after hearing Xiao Ben's words, Xiao Qinlin knew that this matter was basically true. They would know in a few days. The attitude of the Hidden Yu family disciples would reveal everything. Qinlin, I've already told you in advance. As for Xinyan, you should talk to her about the pros and cons. I believe she's a sensible child. She wouldn't do something so foolish as to send everyone to their deaths. Xiao Ben said, I understand. Xiao Qinlin said helplessly, I will talk to Xinyan and try my best to convince her. Although Xiao Qinlin wanted to support her daughter's choice, what was the point of supporting her if she lost her life? Xiao Qinlin sighed and dialed her daughter's number. Mom. Xinyan had been holding her phone, waiting for Xiao Qinlin's call. She picked it up immediately. How's it going? Did Uncle agree to cancel the engagement? Xianyan, sigh. Xiao Qinlin listened to her daughter's expectant voice and couldn't help but sigh. Things are a little complicated. Mom, what's wrong? Is it because they don't want me to cancel the engagement? Xinyan heard her mother's unhappy tone and guessed what was going on. Her heart tightened. Yes, Xinyan, I'm sorry, I've tried my best, but I really can't, Xiao Qinlin said helplessly. Mom, do we really have to listen to Uncle? Can't we make our own choices? Worst comes to worst, we'll just cut off our relationship with them. We have Lin Yi and the Hidden House Pie to take care of our business. It won't be too bad. Xinyan had made up her mind, and she was very determined. Xinyan, listen to me. I'll explain it to you slowly. Xiao Qinlin sighed and told Xinyan everything Xiao Ben said. Xinyan, now you know why I said it can't be done, right? The Hidden House Pie is strong, but can it compare to the ancient sects? If you choose Lin Yi, it's not just hurting you, it's also hurting Lin Yi. Do you want him to die? Xinyan's mouth was wide open, shocked beyond words. Xiaolong's brother, Kong Ming Ming, had become the disciple of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, the future successor of the elder. Why was House Kong so lucky? Xinyan, you're my only daughter. I don't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Qinlin continued. Sometimes, liking someone doesn't mean you have to be with them. As long as they're safe and happy, that's a type of happiness. Isn't it? Mom, I understand. Xinyan sighed softly, laughing at herself. She didn't think that her decision would die before it could be implemented. Yes, if she forced herself to be with Lin Yi, it wouldn't just hurt herself, it would hurt Lin Yi as well. Xinyan, think about it. Calm down. Xiao Qinlin didn't feel too good. If you can't think it through, then call me. Okay. Xinyan hung up quietly, tears streaming down her cheeks. Was it to mourn this withering love that hadn't even bloomed yet? Freedom of love was a luxury in a family like hers. Xinyan didn't want to give up, but she didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. After some hesitation, she dialed Chen Tian's number. Xinyan. Sisima. Chen Tian blinked. He didn't expect Xinyan to call him. Although Xinyan had saved his number after she was kidnapped, she never called him. Chen Tian was a little surprised. Wu Chen Tian, I want to ask you something. Are ancient sects very powerful? Xinyan asked directly. Ancient sex? Chun Tian paused, not knowing why Xinyan would ask a question like this. He thought that she must have heard about it somewhere, and was curious, so he answered casually, of course they're powerful. Ancient sects are much more powerful than hidden houses. Xinyan, sis-in-law, why are you asking this all of a sudden? Then, compared to Lin, Xinyan asked again. La 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 la. Chun Tian was even more taken aback. He didn't expect Xinyan's thoughts to jump so far, comparing him to Lin Yi. He didn't want to belittle Lin Yi in front of Xinyan, but he didn't dare boast. Boss will be even more powerful than the ancient sects in the future. Look, Boss wasn't as powerful as a common house before, and he was suppressed by House Yu. But after that, he successfully wiped out House Yu and took in all the common houses, forming the Cultivators Association. Now he's marching towards the hidden houses. Look, the hidden House Han and House Pai have become his lackeys, and they've joined the Cultivators Association as well. So, it's only a matter of time before Boss conquers the ancient sects. I got it. Thanks. Xinyan sighed as she hung up the phone. Chapter 2394. But this kind of achievement would have been very dazzling during normal times. It wasn't something normal people could achieve, but for Xinyan, it was far from enough. The pressure from the ancient sects was simply too much. Xinyan finally understood her mother's fear. Even Lin Yi couldn't fight against them after some hesitation. Xinyan finally made her decision. 4 years in university wasn't long, but it wasn't short either. She couldn't marry Xiaolong during that time, so she'd give Lin Yi 4 years. For years, she hoped that Lin Yi would be able to stand at a height even higher than the ancient sects. But from now on, in order to prevent the Sky Elixir sect from doing anything to Lin Yi, she had to keep some distance from Lin Yi, especially after Xiaolong's arrival. She'd keep this secret to herself. She didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi didn't reach that height in 4 years, then Xinyan would go to Xiao Xiao or Tang Yun. Weren't they heirs to the ancient sects? Xinyan would rather not get married then. She didn't believe that the Sky Elixir sect would start a war with the Ice Palace or Snow Valley just because of this. After all, running away from the wedding and being with Lin Yi were two different things. Running away would only cause House Kong to lose a bit of face, but being with Lin Yi would cause them to lose a lot of face. Chun Tian looked at the phone in his hand and shook his head. He didn't know why Xinyan was calling him, asking a few random questions. Was she trying to get to know Lin Yi better? But Chun Tian didn't think much of it. He continued walking around the mall with old Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, and his grandpa. They'd been in Lin Yi's house for a while now, and they didn't bring much luggage. Their clothes were washed and worn, and Lin Yi had people buy them for them. Today was the chance to buy some daily necessities and clothes. Lin Yi was studying Spring Rain in his room after his failure when he heard Chen Shi's voice in the living room. Lin Yi quickly walked out to see that Chen Shi had just woken up. She stood up from the sofa and looked around, her eyes filled with shock. A moment ago, Chen Shi was scavenging with Grandpa Zhu near the beach between Donghai and Songshan. For some reason, she fell asleep, and when she woke up again, she found herself lying on a sofa in a luxurious villa. Chen Shi was shocked. She remembered that there were often cases of girls being abducted on the internet and in the newspapers. She quickly checked her clothes and found that they were intact. Chen, she felt a little strange. Who brought her here? Suddenly hearing the sound of the door opening, Chen Shi subconsciously turned her head, but what she saw was the person she yearned for day and night. Thinking about day and night, Chen Shi's face reddened. Only Ziyu knew what was on her mind. You're awake? Lin Yi knew that Chen Shi only took sleeping pills, so he wasn't too worried. Yeah, Lin Yi bro, why am I here? Chen Shi saw Lin Yi, surprised at first but then confused. Wasn't I scavenging at the beach? You were taken away by the bad guys, and I just happened to see you, so I brought you back. Lin Yi didn't explain in detail. Lin Yi didn't want to get rid of Boss Shu just yet, and keeping him with Qin Shi was a form of protection. Lin Yi could tell that the reason why the Zhaos didn't leave after losing to Qin Shi was because they wanted to take Qin Shi away after Lin Yi, Pu Laolu, and Pu Huati fought to the death. They didn't want anything to happen to Qin Shi, but what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi's strength was beyond their expectations. From their perspective, Pu Laolu was an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati was a psychic with an unknown combat ability. Even if the two of them couldn't win completely, it was still possible that they could take Lin Yi down with them. So the people who stayed there were waiting for Lin Yi to deal with Pu Laolu and Pu Huati, and then they could secretly take Qin Shi away. But what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi killed the hidden Zhaos in one move. They didn't even have the chance to see Lin Yi kill Pu Laolu. Although Lin Yi was recovering, he still heard the boss's words clearly. The hidden Zhaos had spoken to them, which meant that they had been planning this for a long time, and Qin Shi was just a pawn. But what was the relationship between Qin Shi and the hidden Zhaos? And why would Boss Shu stay by Qin Shi's side? What about Grandpa Zhu? Qin Shi was shocked. She came out to scavenge with Grandpa Zhu, and she met the bad guys. How was Grandpa Zhu now? Did he meet the bad guys as well? Grandpa Zhu? Lin Yi laughed coldly in his heart. He's fine. He probably sold you out, and you're still worried about him? But Lin Yi naturally wouldn't say this to Qin Shi. He said to her, "Who knows, but he should be fine. He's just an old man. He doesn't have much value. Pack up. I'll send you back to Songshan." Okay. Qin Shi was still a little worried about Grandpa Zhu, but since Lin Yi said so, she didn't ask anymore. She only nodded. "I don't need to pack up. I can go now." "Okay, let's go now." Lin Yi nodded. He didn't see Meng Yao and Yushu, not knowing what they were doing. Lin Yi sent them a text telling them that he was sending Qin Shi back to Songshan, and left the villa with Qin Shi. Boss Shu didn't see what happened in the casino, but he did see Lin Yi carrying Qin Shi, Elder Pai, Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, Wu Gongao, Meng Yao, Yushu, and the others all in one piece. Lin Yi had some bloodstains on him, as if he was injured, but the fact that he could carry someone meant that he was fine. Why would Elder Pai appear next to Lin Yi? Wasn't Pai Jihai injured by the purple thunderbolt beast? Why did he appear here alive and kicking? Chapter 2395. Boss Shu quickly called Zhao Guanyin. "Young master, Lin Yi saved Qin Shi. Although he's injured, he should be fine. He can still hold Qin Shi." "What?" Zhao Guanyin was shocked. Pu Laolu is an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati is a psychic. Even they couldn't stop Lin Yi? "Looks like there's no one left." "Young master, what about Qin Shi?" Boss Shu asked. "You follow Lin Yi. Go get Qin Shi back first. Your identity hasn't been exposed, so it's fine." Zhao Guanyin was angry and unwilling, but there was nothing he could do. He could only say, "Wait for you to come back and think about it. Tell father and I the details." "Yes," Boss Shu quickly replied. So, as soon as Lin Yi left the villa, he saw Boss Shu at the door. Boss Shu, on the other hand, pretended like he'd just arrived, panting and sweating. "Lin Yi, is Lil Shi here? I've been asking around for a long time, and finally found out where you're staying. It's so hard to find." Boss Shu's acting was quite good. Of course, he was always acting in front of Qin Shi. "Grandpa Zhu, you're okay? That's great." Qin Shi was happy to see Boss Shu. "Qin Shi, Grandpa Zhu is fine. You were suddenly knocked out by a few people." "Sigh. Grandpa Zhu is useless. I couldn't protect you," Boss Zhu said helplessly. "It's okay. Lin Yi saved me." Qin Shi didn't doubt Boss Zhu's words at all. "Qin Shi, go back to the villa first. I want to talk to your Grandpa Zhu." Since Lin Yi saw Boss Zhu, he wouldn't let him go so easily. Chun-Shi was taken aback, but she still nodded because of her trust in Lin Yi. More importantly, she listened to Lin Yi's words. Then, I'll go back to the villa first. Chun-Shi didn't know why Lin Yi was looking for Grandpa Zhu, but she didn't ask. She turned around and left. Mr. Lin Yi, thank you so much, Boss Zhu said pretentiously. All right, old Zhu, stop pretending. Let's talk in the car. Lin Yi pointed at his car and said to Boss Zhu, what do you mean, Mr. Lin Yi? Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still pretended not to know. You know what I mean. I killed those hidden Zhao family members. Don't you want to know how they died? Lin Yi said coolly, what hidden Zhao family? I don't understand. Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still asked with a blank face. Ha ha, get in the car if you don't want to die. Earth-class early phase practitioner. Lin Yi didn't say much and pointed out his level. Boss Zhu's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be able to tell what level he was. It seemed that Lin Yi really did know something, otherwise he wouldn't have said that. The fact that he was a practitioner was suspicious enough. All right. Boss Zhu's face changed. He nodded and got in the car with Lin Yi. What's your relationship with Qibing's Uncle Zhu? Are you his brother? Lin Yi already guessed that Boss Zhu was related to the hidden house Zhao. His surname was Zhu, so naturally he connected it to Uncle Zhu. Yes, he's my brother. Boss Zhu gritted his teeth. He knew that there was no point in hiding it from Lin Yi. Lin Yi already knew his identity. Why did you run to Chun-Shi's side? What happened today? What was going on? Why are you guys hiding House Zhao? Lin Yi asked. I'm sorry, I have my own master. There are some things I can't say. Boss Zhu rejected. Boss Zhu refused. You and Chun-Shi can expose my identity, but I still can't say anything about the Zhao family. Expose you? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu playfully. Do you think that you'll be fine if you don't say anything? Then, what do you want? Boss Zhu's face froze. Elder Bai, I even dared to cripple you. Who do you think you are in my eyes? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu condescendingly. I asked you to get in the car to ask you something. Don't think I'm begging you. I can kill you any time I want. Do you believe that no one from House Zhao will stand up for you after you die? Boss Zhu started sweating. Lin Yi was right. Elder Bai was almost in a vegetative state from Lin Yi, and House Zhao didn't even dare fart. If they dared to look for trouble with Lin Yi, they wouldn't need to borrow a knife to kill him. That's right, but your master is a bit too weak. Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu. Perhaps you'll have a better future with Zhao Qiqun. Your brother, Uncle Zhu, might not always be a cripple. What do you mean? Boss Zhu's eyebrows twitched as he stared at Lin Yi. He wasn't sure of Lin Yi's intentions. Nothing, I'm just saying. Lin Yi said faintly. Wu Qintian was crippled, but now he's an Earth-class early phase. Pai Zhihai, that Zhao Yaowang from your house, said that he couldn't make it anymore, but isn't he fine now? Since Boss Zhu could find his way here, Lin Yi believed that Boss Zhu must have seen the hidden house Pai come out of the casino. At this point, if Boss Zhu still didn't understand what Lin Yi meant, then he'd be an idiot. Lin Yi's hint was clear. There was no future with Zhao Qibing, but there was a future with Zhao Qiqun. Not only was there a future, but there was hope for his brother's recovery. Although Uncle Zhu's injuries were serious, Boss Zhu thought that Wu Qintian and Pai Zhihai's injuries were even more serious. If they were fine, then Uncle Zhu's injuries were probably nothing to Lin Yi. It wouldn't be hard for him to recover. Can I think about it? This is too important. Boss Zhu said after a moment of silence. After all, it was impossible for him to betray House Zhao. He'd been with House Zhao for so many years, and he couldn't bring himself to destroy House Zhao with Lin Yi, but to change masters and work for Qiqun. That was something he could accept. Chapter 2396. Of course, Lin Yi didn't expect Boss Zhu to agree right away. That wasn't realistic. If he agreed right away, Lin Yi would suspect that there was something wrong with him. Lin Yi didn't believe that he had some sort of king's aura that could make Boss Zhu submit right away. Wu Chintian, Hidden House Han, and Hidden House Pai's submission all had specific conditions. Boss Zhu only talked to him once and he'd submit? That wasn't realistic. Full. Boss Zhu let out a breath of relief and said gratefully, "Thank you. What's with Chen Shi?" Lin Yi asked. Chun Shi is the illegitimate daughter of the young head. I'm someone the young head arranged to be by her side. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else right now. I hope Mr. Lin can understand. And don't force me, Boss Zhu said. Lin Yi could get some information from Mrs. Chun later on, so Boss Zhu didn't hide it. Oh. Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect Chen Shi to be Zhao Guangyin's illegitimate daughter. This Zhao Guangyin was pretty good at messing around when he was young. It wasn't enough that he had Zhao Qibing, but now he had an illegitimate daughter? But what surprised Lin Yi was that the daughter of House Zhao was picking up trash. House Zhao has a strong patriarchal mindset, and they're very clear on the difference between the legitimate and illegitimate sons. Boss Zhu saw Lin Yi's confusion and explained. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. It made sense now. This was most likely the reason why Zhao Qiqun wasn't valued. Zhao Qibing was the son of Zhao Guangyin, the young head of the house. Even if it was passed down, it would be his son who would be the heir, not Zhao Qiqun. Thinking of Zhao Qiqun, Lin Yi asked, "How's Zhao Qiqun now?" Zhao Qiqun at the Hidden House Summit. He wanted to call Mr. Lin and tell him that Zhao Qibing's car was modified, but he was caught red-handed and is now under house arrest. Boss Zhu didn't hide it. These things weren't too important. Qiqun would tell Lin Yi about it when the Sky Elixir School's test was held, so Boss Zhu was just telling him first. He's under house arrest. Lin Yi was very surprised. He didn't think that Qiqun would be locked up because of him. It seemed like Qiqun had truly accepted him as his boss, or else he wouldn't be like this. This surprised Lin Yi. But after knowing this, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore Zhao Qiqun. He was locked up because of him, and this time he was going to the Sky Elixir School's test. It seemed like House Zhao wanted to use this chance to get rid of him. Mr. Lin, I can't do anything about this. I can't interfere with House Zhao's business. Boss Zhu thought that Lin Yi wanted his help, so he explained bitterly. It's fine. Just tell him to go to the test in peace. I'll take care of everything. Lin Yi said. That's easy. Boss Zhu nodded. This was something he could do. About the Hidden House Pai. Don't talk about it. They're all dead anyway. There's no evidence. Lin Yi said faintly. Whatever you want to make up later, that's up to you. All right. Boss Zhu sighed. He didn't say anything yet, but he was already on Lin Yi's boat. But what else could he do if he didn't agree? If Lin Yi wanted to kill him and Uncle Zhu, he could do it with a wave of his hand. No one could protect him, so he had to give in. Chen Shi, I'll leave her to you. I don't want anything to happen to her. Lin Yi said with an unquestionable tone, if anything happens, you'll be in trouble too. I understand. Boss Zhu quickly replied. All right, since you're here, you can take Chen Shi back, Lin Yi said. He wasn't worried anymore. You know what to do, right? I know. Boss Zhu nodded helplessly. After getting off the car with Boss Zhu, Lin Yi went back to the villa and saw Chen Shi sitting on the sofa alone, not watching TV or reading magazines, just sitting there like a fool. It wasn't that Chen Shi didn't want to, but suddenly staying in such a luxurious villa made her feel uncomfortable and restricted. She didn't dare touch anything in the villa. Chen Shi, since your Grandpa Zhu is here to pick you up, you can go back with him. I won't be sending you off, Lin Yi said. Okay. Chen Shi was a bit disappointed. She actually wanted Lin Yi to send her back, so she could spend more time with Lin Yi, but she didn't dare say it out loud. She could only nod. Study hard when you get back, and don't always pick up trash. If you don't have money, asking Ziyu for it. Lin Yi didn't want Chen Shi to be distracted by these things. Yeah, Ziyu said, but evidently wasn't going to do that. Linny didn't have a choice. Chun-Shi and Ziyu were close, but Chun-Shi wouldn't use Ziyu's money. After sending Chun-Shi and Boss Shu off, Lin Yi looked at the time. It was still early, and he was about to ask Meng Yao and Yushu what was going on when Lin Yi got a call from Lingshan. Silly girl, your call really came at the right time. Lingshan's call came in just as Lin Yi was done with the things he had on hand. Why are you calling me silly girl again? Lingshan felt a little familiar with the way he called her. She remembered that Lin Yi hadn't called her that in a while, and hearing it now gave her a strange feeling. I just remembered, so I called you that. Lin Yi thought back to when he first met Lingshan, feeling a little emotional. In the blink of an eye, they were all from Songshan to Donghai City. You miss me? Lingshan's voice started to sound a little sweet and coquettish. A little. Lin Yi didn't deny it. It had been a long time since he last saw Lingshan, and seeing her today made him feel a sense of closeness. It was just that Lingshan had a case to deal with, so Lin Yi didn't talk to her much. Real or fake, I'm pretty happy. Lingshan was a little surprised. It's just a simple thing between friends, Lin Yi added. Can't you just add that last part? Lingshan said, a little discouraged. There are different types of friends. Lin Yi sweated. He didn't expect Lingshan to react this strongly. All right, if that's the case, can you help me look into the kidnapping case? Lingshan felt a little better. Chapter 2397. I got this case as soon as I came to Donghai, and I went to the police station yesterday to look at the fake Lin Yi's file. According to Qin Tian, the kidnappers were very similar to the fake Lin Yi. They were the type of people who had no intelligence and weren't afraid of death, or rather, people who had their brains destroyed and hypnotized. Lingshan said, Oh. Lin Yi paused. He hadn't had the time to ask about the details yet, but now that Lingshan was talking about it, he did feel that the two cases were quite similar, and he subconsciously thought of one person. He remembered what he saw at the Hidden House Summit. This kidnapper and that fake Lin Yi, weren't they similar to the contestants in Mingyue brought? No wonder Lin Yi felt that this person looked familiar back then. The person Li Biaohan had found was similar to this type of person. It should be the firewolves, Lin Yi guessed, and the firewolves were the first people he thought of. Firewolves? Lingshan frowned. Naturally, she'd heard of the firewolves before. The firewolves weren't any weaker than the ancient sections. They were a gang, but other than being notorious, they didn't have any solid evidence. The police couldn't do anything to them. More importantly, the number of practitioners they had was enough to fight against the ancient sections. Normal people wouldn't be able to touch them. It's just a guess, Lin Yi said, but it's very possible that it's Jiang Wen's doing. Of course, in the end, the person you catch might be a small fry that the firewolves used as a scapegoat. Don't hold too much hope. It's good that we have a direction. Lingshan sighed. Of course, she knew what Lin Yi was talking about. If this was really done by the firewolves, then the firewolves wouldn't have left any evidence behind. This could be seen from the fake Lin Yi that they captured. Come to my villa when you're free. I'll give you a small cheat gathering pill. You'll be able to advance to the early phase of Earth class after you take it. It'll be good for your daily work. Lin Yi said, East Ocean City is not like Songshan City. The level of the cultivators here is obviously higher than Songshan City. All right, I'll go get it after I'm done here. Lingshan said, Thanks. Oh, why are you thanking me? Lin Yi smiled. Lingshan's heart warmed, and she happily hung up the phone. But then she thought about the firewolves and her head hurt again. Donghai, Jiang Wen's villa. This was the third time Xiao Chun called Lei Daming. Lei Daming, is your money ready or not? Our patience is limited. If we don't see the money in an hour, we can only say sorry. Xiao Chun said coldly through the voice changer, I really don't have money. Lei Daming said with a sad face, It's not that I don't want to pay, but I'm no longer the chairman of the Merchant Association. The hidden house, Xiao doesn't let me manage the business in Donghai anymore. They sent me to Jituan City to manage the business. You don't know how to ask for money from the hidden house? Xiao Chun, naturally, didn't care about his excuses. 1 hour. If you don't have the money, I'll kill you. Then Xiao Chun hung up the phone, ignoring Lei Daming's crying. But after hanging up, Xiao Chun changed his violent attitude and said respectfully, Master, when what Lei Daming said is true. He really doesn't have the money. I've asked around, and the chairman of the Donghai Merchant Association has been changed to an outsider called Peng Zhan. What? Changed to Peng Zhan? Jiang Wen froze. Yeah, why don't we kidnap Peng Zhan's daughter and extort some money from him? Xiao Chun suggested. Of course, he was new here and didn't know about the relationship between Jiang Wen, Peng Zhan, and Meng Yao. Xiao Chun, don't talk nonsense. Scorpion knew about Jiang Wen's situation. He glared at Xiao Chun. Shut up. Forget it, Scorpion. He doesn't know. Jiang Wen waved his hand. He didn't blame Xiao Chun. I've been chasing after Peng Zhan's daughter. If I kidnap her and she finds out about it, I won't have a chance. It seemed like Jiang Wen didn't have much of a chance now, but he still had a sliver of hope. I'm sorry, Master Wen. Xiao Chun jumped in fright. He made a mental note that he couldn't offend this Peng Zhan. But what about Lei Daming's daughter? Kill her if she doesn't pay for an hour. Jiang Wen said coldly, let's make an example out of her. It's not easy for us to kidnap her, and if she doesn't pay, we won't let her off easy. Mark the price clearly and honestly. All right. Xiao Chun nodded. An hour later, Lei Daming didn't pay the ransom. So Scorpion killed Lei Daming's daughter and left her body in the wilderness. He told Xiao Chun to call Lei Daming to identify the body in a garbage dump in the suburbs of Donghai. A couple of police cars had their lights flashing. Ling Shan, Lu Wangli, and the others were standing beside a woman's body. The other police officers were cordoning off the area. Lei Daming was crying on the ground. He didn't think that the kidnappers would really kill his daughter. Ling Shan felt that the kidnappers were too arrogant, but she didn't really sympathize with Lei Daming. This guy was a dog of House Xiao, and when he was the chairman of Donghai Commerce, he worked with some local businessmen to bully and chase away foreign investors, turning Donghai business into a mess. Now that he was abandoned by House Xiao and his daughter was killed by the kidnappers, he was reaping what he sowed. But as bad as Lei Daming was, the case had to be solved. After investigating the scene, Ling Shan brought Lu Wangli to House and's villa in Donghai. Since Lin Yi said that this might have something to do with Jiang Wen from the Firewolves, Ling Shan naturally had to go and investigate. When Ling Shan arrived at the villa, Jiang Wen wasn't at home. Only Jiang Wen's father, and Ming Yue, was there. Mr. N, I'm Ling Shan from Donghai's criminal investigation team. This is my ID. Ling Shan handed the ID to Ming Yue. Ling Shan and Ming Yue weren't strangers, but Ling Shan still had to be professional. Chapter 2398. Mr. N, is Jiang Wen home? We have something we need to talk to him about. Ling Shan got straight to the point. Oh, you're looking for Jiang Wen? He's not home. What's the matter? And Ming Yue asked calmly, where is he? We're looking for him to cooperate with the investigation. Ling Shan said, I see. Why don't I call him and ask him to come back? And Ming Yue saw that Ling Shan wasn't going to say anything, and after some hesitation, he dialed Jiang Wen's number and told him everything that happened. Of course, he didn't say anything unnecessary. He believed that Jiang Wen would understand what he was trying to say. Jiang Wen naturally understood what his father was hinting at, but he didn't understand how Ling Shan could have gotten here so quickly. Jiang Wen was confident that he'd done everything perfectly, and there wasn't any evidence left. Ling Shan probably didn't come here through evidence. Still, Jiang Wen went back to the villa immediately and greeted Ling Shan warmly. Officer Song, You were looking for me? Jiang Wen, you're familiar with the recent kidnapping cases, right? Ling Shan asked straightforwardly. Normal methods wouldn't work on people like Jiang Wen. Kidnapping cases? I've heard of it, but no one from Housen was kidnapped. As expected, Jiang Wen looked at Ling Shan innocently. Jiang Wen, I'll cut to the chase. Lin Yi asked me to find you. The Firewolf Gang's research on these people that are similar to practitioners. Don't tell me you have nothing to do with it. Ling Shan wasn't just beating around the bush with Jiang Wen. Someone like him wouldn't admit anything no matter what. So, Ling Shan decided to ask him directly. Jiang Wen didn't expect Ling Shan to ask like this, especially since it was Lin Yi who asked her to come. His face changed. He wanted to deny it subconsciously, but he knew that he couldn't. Lin Yi probably knew about the things he had done, such as kidney removal, underground boxing, bank robbery, etc. However, Lin Yi did not have any evidence, and Lin Yi probably could not be bothered with him for the time being. But this time, Lin Yi had personally instructed Ling Shan to come to him. Evidently, Lin Yi wasn't happy with the kidnapping. Jiang Wen frowned. He seemed to have offended Lin Yi a little too much recently, especially after Ping Zhan's car accident. Lin Yi didn't like him at all. He remembered what his father said about Lin Yi's feat at the Hidden House Summit. Jiang Wen hesitated, but decided to give in. His position in the Firewolf Gang was indeed very high, but didn't the Firewolf Gang's law protector similarly admit defeat in front of Lin Yi? Plus, Lin Yi's performance at the Hidden House Summit could only be described as shocking. Even those Sky-class masters didn't dare to make a move. So how could Jiang Wen fight against Lin Yi? And so, Jiang Wen decided to give in. Is that so? But, Officer Song, you know that I may be the person in charge of the Firewolf Gang in Donghai, but some of my men might use our practitioners to do bad things for their own selfish reasons. I didn't pay attention to it before, but since Officer Song reminded me, it seems like I've overlooked it. Don't worry, Officer Song, I'll investigate the people in our group, and those who have the qualifications to use those practitioners, I'll investigate them one by one. If it really was one of our men involved in the kidnapping, then I won't go easy on him. I'll bring him to you personally. I hope so. Ling Shan nodded. This wasn't the result she wanted, but it was still a victory in comparison. Jiang Wen gave in. The person he handed over might be a small fry, but it was better than nothing. Of course, Ling Shan knew that the Lin Yi in her words had an effect. Jiang Wen was obviously afraid of Lin Yi, and that was why he was trying to shirk the responsibility. Otherwise, there was no way Jiang Wen would give in without any evidence at all. Ling Shan didn't say much, and left with Lu Wangli. She knew that the kidnapping case would be solved soon, but the real culprit was still in hiding. The Firewolf Gang, also known as Firewolf Group, was the real culprit behind all this. Fuck, we just made some money, and Lin Yi's here to cause trouble. Jiang Wen was furious after Ling Shan left. Jiang Wen, Lin Yi has a big grudge with us. With the current situation, it really isn't a good time to have a conflict. And Mingyue said, let's stop the kidnapping for now. Okay. Jiang Wen was angry, but he knew that he couldn't do the kidnapping business anymore. It seemed like he had to focus on other businesses. Boss Xu sent Chen Shi back first before returning to Donghai City. He went to Gambling Bros Casino first and learned about the situation from him. Of course, this was to make it easier for him to lie when he got back. He mainly wanted to test how much Gambling Bro knew. But now, it seemed like Gambling Bro didn't know much. He didn't see how Pu Laolu and Pu Huati died, and he didn't know Old Pai's real identity. This made Boss Xu sigh in relief. After Boss Xu returned, the first thing the Hidden House Xiao did was call for a family meeting. Boss Xu followed Lin Yi's orders and blamed the whole thing on Lin Yi, but didn't mention the Hidden House Pai. As for the reason why the Zhaos were killed by Lin Yi, it was because of the casino. Boss Xu said that the boss of the casino sold out the Hidden House Zhao's identity. Of course, Boss Xu was reversing the sequence. Gambling Bro did sell out the Hidden House Zhao, but he did it after, not before. As for the reason why Lin Yi suspected those people, it was because Lin Yi saw through Boss Zhu's strength. Naturally, Boss Zhu wouldn't say it out loud. If House Zhao knew that he was exposed, he'd probably be sent back to the hidden house. He wouldn't be able to stay by Chen Shi's side, and he wouldn't have a good ending either. I didn't think that Lin Yi was the strong, killing Pu Huiti and his bodyguards. Old Zhao was shocked. This Lin Yi wasn't weak at all. No wonder he was so arrogant during the Hidden House Summit, saying that he had the strength to fight Sky Class. Chapter 2399. But now he was venting his anger on the casino. But before old Zhao could say anything, Guangyin spoke up. Father, this casino owner is a two-faced scoundrel. He's not a good person. How dare he betray our hidden house? If we don't teach him a lesson, he won't know who the boss of Donghai is. Yes, of course we'll teach the casino a lesson, but we'll have to wait until this blows over. Old Zhao waved his hand. At least wait until the news of Pu Huiti and Pu Laoyou's deaths reach Southeast Asia. We'll go to their sects and let them know who killed their disciples. If we do it now and they blame it on us, it won't be worth it. Lin Yi is a sly bastard. He's capable of anything. Yes, father. Guangyin had wanted to attack the casino right away, but his father's words made sense. If they did it now, what if Pu Huiti and Pu Laoyou's deaths were blamed on them? Grandpa, that Lin Yi is so strong. Zhao Qiqun. It was finally Qibing's turn to speak. He wasn't interested in taking revenge on the casino. He was worried about Qiqun. If Qiqun got Lin Yi's support, then who could stop him if he wanted to take over? Father, Zhao Qiqun must be removed. Guangyin hesitated before suggesting. Hayes, old Zhao sighed. He'd thought that if they could get rid of Lin Yi, then even if Qiqun didn't die, he wouldn't be able to do much. He'd be kicked out of House Zhao and become a normal rich man. But now, it seemed like he had to get rid of him, or there'd be endless trouble in the future. Head! Zhao Qiqun is still a bit against the idea of joining the test, but if we tell him that Lin Yi is joining as well, then maybe he'll go willingly. Elder Zhu suggested. Oh. Old Master Zhao pondered for a moment, then nodded his head and said, All right, go tell him. I won't see him. Old Zhao had made up his mind, but he was still a little emotional. Boss Zhu felt a little smug. He'd said this to get in touch with Qiqun, and as expected, the mission had fallen to him. This was because he had already calculated that old Master Zhao was a little sad and probably wouldn't go. Qibing and Qiqun, on the other hand, were enemies. Qiqun might not believe his words. Since Zhao Guangyin was Zhao Qibing's father, it wasn't suitable for him to do such a thing, so after he suggested it, it naturally fell onto his shoulders. It could be said that it was logical. Yes, Boss Zhu quickly responded. Unknowingly, Boss Zhu also realized that he had already boarded Lin Yi's pirate ship. It was impossible for him to leave. This was already destined from the moment Lin Yi discovered his identity. Therefore, although Boss Zhu was reluctant, he had no other choice. Luckily, helping Qiqun was also helping House Zhao, but it was just two different factions, so Boss Zhu didn't feel too much of a burden. They came to Qiqun's room and knocked. Boss Zhu pushed the door open and walked in. Qiqun was sitting on the bed with his eyes closed, practicing. He didn't open his eyes when he heard the door open. Put the food on the table, I'll eat later. These days there had been people delivering food to him every day. He was used to it. There were masters guarding his door, and even with his strength he wouldn't be able to escape. Qiqun was too lazy to run. As for the food, Qiqun didn't worry at all. Hidden House Zhao wanted to get rid of him, but they wouldn't do something like poison. Houses had rules. And if they did something like that in the future, people would start using poison in the fight for the head of the house, and then Hidden House Zhao would be wiped out. So, to get rid of Qiqun, They had to use the Sky Elixir School's test. Chiquin had seen through the truth these days. He had accepted his fate. Chiquin. Someone told me to tell you don't worry and go to the test. Boss Shu lowered his voice and whispered to Chiquin. Ah. Chiquin opened his eyes abruptly and looked at Boss Shu, confused. He wasn't a stranger to Boss Shu, but he had always been Qibing's follower. Now that he came over and said something like this, Chiquin didn't know what was going on. But Boss Shu didn't continue the topic. The head of the house told me to tell you that Lin Yi is participating in the Sky Elixir test as well. Chiquin frowned as he looked at Boss Shu, a little surprised. He couldn't tell which side Boss Shu was on right now. If he was one of Zhao Qibing's people, then there wouldn't be a problem with the second sentence. In order to let him participate in the test, he wouldn't reject it, so he told him this information. In fact, Chiquin knew that this was Qibing's plan to get him to join the test willingly. It was an overt scheme. But what Boss Shu said in a low voice when he just came to the room was worth considering. Who did he say that on behalf of? Shu Boss Yu? Chiquin frowned, unsure of what to say. I don't want to die. Boss Shu only said this and left the room. Don't want to die? Chiquin paused, but he wasn't an idiot. He quickly realized the connection between the two. The first one, Boss Shu, was speaking for someone, and the second one was speaking for the head of the house, Elder Zhao. Since the first person was able to say something that made him feel at ease, it didn't need to be said who this person was. In addition to the two words Lin Yi in the second sentence, Zhao Qibing was sure that Lin Yi was the one who told Boss Shu to bring him a message. And the reason why Boss Shu gave in was simple. He was afraid of death. This made sense. After thinking about it, Chiquin, who had been depressed for so long, couldn't help but feel excited. It seemed like Boss Shu hadn't forgotten about him. His act of sending him a message had paid off. Lin Yi must have found out about him through some other channel, so he told Boss Shu to bring him this message. Like this, Chiquin didn't really mind joining the Sky Elixir Sex test. He'd just see it as training with Lin Yi. After Lin Yi ended the call, he went to Han Jingjing's villa next door. Chapter 2400. That Method. I don't think it'll work. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He wanted to try it again, but Qin Shi woke up before he could, and then Boss Shu came and Ling Shan called, so Lin Yi didn't try Spring Rain again. Now that Han Jingjing mentioned it again, Lin Yi didn't want to give up and decided to try again. It's not working. Han Jingjing was a little disappointed, but she still said, it's okay. I believe Lin Yi bro can think of other ways. If it really doesn't work, I won't make second-level elixirs in batches. Let's try again. Lin Yi said, let's go to your room now. Okay. Han Jingjing listened to Lin Yi's words. The two came to Han Jingjing's room, and Han Jingjing asked, do you need me to do anything to help Lin Yi, bro? No need. Just wait on the side. Lin Yi shook his head. Oh, okay. Han Jingjing nodded. After that, he started channeling the chant for Sky's Spring Rain and tried activating the first form, but suddenly a miracle happened. On Lin Yi's hands, a light blue mist of pure energy suddenly appeared, and as Lin Yi activated the technique, the light blue energy suddenly left Lin Yi's hands, floating in the air, and then fell like spring rain, entering Han Jingjing's body. This situation made Lin Yi a little stunned. He had been failing before, and suddenly it worked, which made Lin Yi feel like it was unrealistic. It worked just like that? Lin Yi was a little surprised. Huh? Lin Yi, bro, is this the method you created? It's very effective. Jingjing feels a lot more energetic. Han Jingjing was also very surprised and impressed. If Lin Yi, bro, used this method when I was making elixirs, you can indeed replenish Jingjing's pure energy and stamina. You feel it? Lin Yi was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that the martial skill that he had failed to activate before would suddenly succeed in front of Han Jingjing. Why did Lin Yi feel that this was unrealistic. Yeah, I can feel it. Why did Brother Lin Yi say that this method is ineffective? Han Jingjing asked curiously, but Jingjing feels that it is effective. It's working this time. Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. Previously, when I was at home, I tried to activate this martial skill, but it didn't work. Why didn't you succeed? Is it because Jingjing isn't around? Han Jingjing blinked and asked doubtfully, Not beside me? Lin Yi was slightly stunned, but then he felt a sense of enlightenment. That's right. The reason why he didn't succeed in activating this martial technique before was because Han Jingjing wasn't beside him. In other words, there was no recipient. The basic function of this auxiliary martial technique was to replenish the physical strength and true qi of the people on his side, but there was no one on his side. Lin Yi activated the martial technique against the air. How could he activate it without a recipient? After figuring this out, Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. It was really a wake-up call. Yeah, Jingjing, you were beside me before. This martial technique of mine can only be activated when there is a recipient on my side. There is no one here, so of course I can't activate it. After Lin Yi figured this out, he was a little excited and surprised. It seemed that it wasn't that he couldn't activate the water martial technique, but he just didn't figure it out before. And Brother Lin Yi is really smart. You figured out the key to the problem in an instant. Han Jingjing nodded and said, Jingjing didn't think of it. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's sincere face. He was a little embarrassed and ashamed. If Han Jingjing didn't remind him, Lin Yi would really ignore this point. However, Han Jingjing put the credit on his head, which made Lin Yi feel very embarrassed. However, looking at Han Jingjing's big, watery, and innocent eyes, Lin Yi found it hard to imagine that Han Jingjing was deliberately complimenting him. After coughing twice, Lin Yi said, Let's start to study alchemy and see if we can refine second-grade medicinal pills in batches. Okay, Han Jingjing nodded. Like before, I'll simulate alchemy, and let's simulate it first. For the sake of insurance, Lin Yi let Han Jingjing simulate it first. Otherwise, if it failed, it would be a waste of materials. Okay. Han Jingjing took the cauldron and asked after preparing, Can we start, Brother Lin Yi? Yes, let's start. Lin Yi nodded and began to circulate the spring rain martial technique. Han Jingjing began to condense the alchemy fire and prepare to simulate alchemy. Soon, Han Jingjing's alchemy fire was condensed, and then she began to simulate alchemy. It could be seen that Han Jingjing's physical strength and true qi were consumed very quickly. After a while, her forehead was covered with fine sweat. As for Lin Yi, he was ready to start urging the spring rain martial technique to replenish Han Jingjing's true qi and physical strength. This time, Lin Yi did not urge the first style of the spring rain martial technique, but he did not urge the second style either, because he roughly judged the speed of the consumption of true qi in Han Jingjing's body. He urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique. Whether it was the first style or the third style, there was not much difference for Lin Yi. According to the description of the spring rain martial technique, the first style of the spring rain martial technique could transfer true qi to one person. The second style could transfer true qi to two people. The third style could transfer true qi to three people, and so on. Now, there was only Han Jingjing beside Lin Yi. Using the third style was equivalent to transferring 3 portions of true qi to Han Jingjing at the same time. However, even if it was the fifth style, the total amount of true qi in Lin Yi's body was fixed. So whether it was the first style, the second style, or the fifth style, it was just that the true qi in Lin Yi's body was divided into several portions. The amount transferred each time was different, but the final sum was the same. Although Lin Yi had not really urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique before, according to Lin Yi's guess, The speed of releasing true qi in the third style should be about the same as the speed at which Han Jingjing's physical strength was consumed. Sure enough, after Lin Yi urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique, Han Jingjing's physical strength and true qi were quickly replenished. At this moment, Lin Yi was surprised to find that he could actually see the amount of true qi left in Han Jingjing's body. Chapter 2401. When Lin Yi healed Wu Qintian, Pai Zhihai, and the others, he could directly feel the amount of qi in their bodies, but that was because the two of them were in direct contact. But now, he and Han Jingjing didn't have any contact. They were only connected through martial arts. So Lin Yi didn't know whether it was because the martial arts had this ability, or because the martial arts connected the two of them. Lin Yi's golden finger worked again, but no matter what, this was a good thing for Lin Yi, because Lin Yi could see Han Jingjing's physical condition in real time. Han Jingjing's body kept absorbing the qi that Lin Yi sent over, and the spring rain arts kept circulating in Lin Yi's body. And as long as Lin Yi didn't stop, the qi would be continuously sent into Han Jingjing's body. But Lin Yi soon realized that the third form of spring rain wasn't enough to keep up with Han Jingjing's consumption. Although it looked like Lin Yi was constantly replenishing Han Jingjing's energy, the rate of replenishment wasn't enough to keep up with the consumption. It just looked like the consumption was much slower. Han Jingjing really felt a lot more relaxed, and the qi in her body seemed to be endless. She could also calm down when she condensed the Dan fire, and didn't have to worry about her physical strength and qi running out at any time. It could be said that this time's pill concoction simulation was very successful if it was according to the usual pill concoction progress. At this time, there would be signs of physical exhaustion, and it wouldn't be as full as it was now. But while she was happy, Han Jingjing quickly realized a problem. And that was, although Lin Yi's qi was constantly being sent over, it couldn't keep up with the consumption, and the transfer was not as fast as the consumption. Lin Yi, bro, can you speed up the qi transfer a little? Han Jingjing felt this and quickly asked Lin Yi. Yes, Lin Yi said, and stopped the third form and started the fourth form of spring rain. The amount of innate qi transmitted by the fourth form was obviously much more than that of the third form, and Han Jingjing's worries were solved. She then continued to refer to the data on the tablet for alchemy. Lin Yi did not expect that refining so many dawn would require so much physical strength and innate qi. If he were to refine higher-level dawn, how much innate qi and physical strength would he need? No wonder alchemists were so arrogant and did not easily refine pills for others. Refining a pill consumes a lot of true qi and physical strength. Although the alchemist's mantra is special and can naturally restore true qi and physical strength in a short period of time, it also varies from person to person. Han Jingjing was a special case. She could recover her innate qi and physical strength in a very short period of time, but this was also because her level was relatively low. If it was a heaven stage alchemist refining a tier 3 Dan, it would probably take a very long time to recover. And the more time passed, the more Lin Yi felt this way, because very soon, all the innate qi in Lin Yi's body was transferred to Han Jingjing, and he directly became a powerless cultivator without innate qi. Although Han Jingjing's alchemy continued, the innate qi in her body was also consumed very quickly. Feeling that Lin Yi's innate qi was no longer continuously transmitted, Han Jingjing was slightly stunned, but she roughly calculated the remaining time on the tablet. Her physical strength and innate qi should be able to support until the end of the simulation alchemy. Finally, Han Jingjing's simulation alchemy ended. But even if it was a simulation alchemy, the amount of innate qi consumed was the same as the normal alchemy. In the end, Han Jingjing's body had less than 1/3 of the innate qi and physical strength left few. It's finally over. Han Jingjing wiped the sweat on her forehead and then asked with some joy, Big Brother Lin, why did you stop transmitting innate chi halfway? All the innate chi in my body has been given to you. There's not a bit left. Lin smiled bitterly. Ah, is that so? Han Jingjing nodded. But fortunately, there is enough innate chi. I still have some left in my body. If the two of us cooperate, we can refine multiple second-grade pills at once. That's true. Linny said, "Oh, right, if you want to refine a third-grade pill, how much innate chi do you need? If you only refine one, will the two of us have enough innate chi?" It shouldn't be enough. Han Jingjing shook her head. When I was free, I also calculated that the innate chi needed to refine a third-grade pill is at least 5 times the innate chi needed to refine a second-grade pill, 5 times. Lin sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that non-heaven stage masters could not refine it because the consumption of innate chi was too huge. Lin could only temporarily dispel this unrealistic idea. If refining a third-grade pill was equal to the sum of 2 people's innate chi, or slightly more than the sum of 2 people's innate chi, Lin could accept it. After all, after Lin Yi's innate chi was used up, Han Jingjing still had a lot of innate chi in her body. Lin could take advantage of Han Jingjing's innate chi consumption to quickly restore his innate chi with the art of dragon mastery, but this method could not be used continuously because Han Jingjing's innate chi could only last once. When Lin Yi's recovered innate chi was used up again, Han Jingjing would have no innate chi to support her, and the process would stop and fail. According to Han Jingjing, after refining a second-grade pill, she was a bit exhausted, which meant that her physical strength was basically only enough to refine 1 second-grade pill and Lin Yi's innate chi, and her own innate chi was only 3 times. Even if Lin Yi's innate chi was a bit more than Han Jingjing's, but the amount of innate chi a mid-stage peak Earth class master and an early-stage Earth class master had was not much different. After all, there would be a world of difference in the amount of essential chi after crossing a truly large level, but the difference between small levels would not be that great. So it was impossible to reach 5 times. Unless there was someone like Lin next to her to continue using heavenly rain to support Han Jingjing's pill refining, Linny could not think of any other solution for now. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.